Gonna fill up real quick. See, there you go.
Woody
There you
Kendall,
go.
man.
Yeah, that's the best bet. Yeah.
Also, tomorrow I'll work on the permissions. Well, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about how we want to work the permissions.
Someone just fart. I heard someone fart. That's awesome. Sorry.
I muted the phone. I don't know if that was that.
That's awesome.
Because you only would have heard.
I heard.
Oh,
you
yeah,
heard it too, right? That was good. That was awesome.
He who smelt it dealt it, Woody.
Hey, I have no problem saying if I fart. See, I farted like what 10 minutes ago, and it was long.
I got no
strong.
problem.
It was long and strong. Oh,
That's
shit,
what she said.
Yeah.
Dude, I stayed talking to Tiff until like 7 in the morning.
Jeez. Jesus. Yeah, he told me some new things that you figured out. Okay, so you want to make sure our patrons that are in here right now, we get them up here, or at least give them the chance to get in here.
They'll automatically have to just move themselves. They can click on the little hand, and they will get moderator permissions. They can come up here on their own.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna go finish my coffee then, or at least get it.
LG, were you invited up here, or did you move yourself?
He moved himself. He said, "Fuck
Yeah.
this, I'm up there."
No, somebody just invited me.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Moderators should be able to move themselves. They just click on the little hand and move to stage.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I did click that then. So I thought that was me raising my hand to get put in the stage.
No, you have admin rights. All the Warlord Patreons have rights in here. So you can, if somebody raises their hand, you can allow them to speak. You can also click on a player and hit invite to speak.
Oh, very cool. Well, I'm glad you're with us tonight, Woody, man. Very nice.
Whole kids is gonna be doing. He's the host. I am here. Hell yeah. But he is the host.
It's fucking pouring out over here where I'm at, man. Fuck.
So let me ask everyone. Everyone, I've heard a lot of positive things about this stage thing right here. So it eliminates the whole people walking without a mic. I personally like it. And all you gotta do, if you want to talk, you raise your hand. You know, like if you look at the bottom of your phone, you raise your hand and it allows you to talk.
Yeah, just know that I don't pay attention to that stuff, man. I'm gonna hope that somebody, obviously Hawk is gonna take care of that. Somebody's raising their hand or whatever, just take care of that and let them do their thing.
You got me and Cowboy right now we're gonna be the whole raising a hand thing, kind of stuff like that. But Hawkeye says he wants to. He's gonna run this. So definitely, we got some topics that we do want to talk about. There's gonna be hot topics.
Yeah, I wanted to see what some of the GC finals are looking like up there. Just wanted to touch on that for a couple of minutes. But all right, well, shit, let's fucking get it started. It's 9:01. Happy Sunday night, morning, whoever.
Let me make sure that it's. Oh yeah, he's live too. I'm going to share this on Facebook to get it out there. All right, so Mike is yours, brother.
Awesome, man. Good evening for me anyway. It was a pretty decent week here, so I think we got some nice topics. I think this is going to be I don't know, third or fourth stream maybe on the new little software here with the ability to raise your hand and ask some questions and things of that nature. So please, if you do got something going on, press the proper buttons, and I'm sure we'll get you up on there. But as far as this week goes, I think there's if you guys don't mind, for some of you other, even the older nations, new nations, whatever, if we can get some screenshots of what the GC finals look like. I personally only know about my own globe. So if we could drop some GC finals, whatever, 6 or 7 of them, I think, that are available out there. Maybe a couple of more, but I think it's like 6 or 7, maybe. Let's see what those look like. We can touch on it for a minute, but it's more just for my information for convo's sake. I don't know if anybody's pushing hard or if there's some sneaky new guy that got in there. Like for us anyway, I'll touch on it. We had a 439 enter the finals, against, I think, 374, a couple of other, nations obviously were in there. But I think that's one of the first times I've seen 439 in the finals in quite some time. I remember when they first merged, I thought they were going to be, probably one of the top contender nations out there. And they still are. I know they've had some issues with the Void thing, with against 385 that time. But I think, it's cool to see them keeping it together, still bringing a squad. Because I know 374 likes to fight, so I'm sure they would have probably liked to go to the finals because we've always broken their nuts about it a little bit. So I think they had to go in there and beat 374. So that's pretty cool to see them in there. So shout out 439 for doing your thing, getting into the finals. But the other two for us, we got 425, we got 439, and then we got the OGs, right? 373, still rocking it out in the finals. And then we got the Chinese in there, 528. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a fun finals. I know a couple of guys have already messaged me from 439 and kind of asking how things go, which is cool, and I respect that. So again, shout out 439 for not just coming to the party and thinking you can come burn people's cities and shit at the center, because that would be a little disrespectful. I think it's pretty funny that in our GC chat, 465 and 354, they kind of won at it this last round, and 465 wasn't so nice, and they just started burning everybody's cities, for no reason, kind of, in the second round. And man, they lit them up in the chat, man. I'll tell you what, they lit them right up in the chat. Like, you guys aren't supposed to be, you can't win. You can't beat 425. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So, anywho. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it was cool to see the new guys in there and a couple of the old faithfuls, if you know what I mean.
Isn't that kind of like back when 373 and Ram was here? That's what they kind of did to you guys too. They couldn't beat you, so they made sure you guys didn't win at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it was more to just have fun, and they like to burn cities more than they like to play in the tower, probably because they were like, didn't have enough players deep. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe 354 was beating them in the towers, so they decided to, go do whatever. I know there are a couple of big cities in 465 with that Saki guy. I know Raz and Saki kind of went at it back and forth there for a while back in the day. So there's a couple of real strong cities in the in the nation 465. So I know they kind of pick on 357 and Elite War a little bit sometimes. So, but it's nice to see those, nations that came after us, still, hanging around and, kind of doing their thing. I see them show up in Elite War with 60 or 70 still. So, it's still a healthy nation. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it was nice to see a new entrant. I guess I think 379 and 385 are kind of waiting and boding their time, and so there's kind of like a open slot, if you know what I mean. So 439 decided to slide in there, which I thought was pretty cool. So anyway, shout out 439 doing their thing. I'm gonna look in the chat here and see what we got in some of these other nations. So I wanted to kind of go in a little bit of an order, but it looks like nothing crazy. I mean, I only really got the 858 one.
Oh,
So 858, 877, 827, 833. So these are pretty cool. I don't know what those other nations do. I know 858 is a pretty good nation, good elite war rank. They show up big numbers wise. I mean, you're here. What do you think there? Is that a clear 858 victory? Somebody come in there and give them a run for their money.
so, oh man, hold on. I'm looking for that screenshot of it. Man, where did they put it? Okay. So, let's see. They got 858. Okay, this is actually going to be really interesting. Okay, so 858, because you know them from EW, 877. Um, they're gonna fight. Like they come with numbers. They come with numbers. I don't know too much about
I feel like
833.
I feel like I fought them, and so this is what happens. And I don't know if it's because of this podcast or not, but these like 800 or like 750 plus nations, man, they love to fucking challenge 357 in Elite War, and like show up with 90, versus my like 35, like whatever. But we always give them a run for their money, man. It's hilarious. But I'm pretty sure that 877 nation has definitely challenged us in an elite war in the last, 6 months or so, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, you would never forget it because the name that is going to stick out a lot is the cockroach, and that's one
Yeah.
of their whales.
Okay.
There.
Yeah. That's like 100. Yeah. I've definitely played him in Polar too. That bastard.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He definitely lived up to his name. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because even on his page it says you can't kill the cockroach or I'll never be killed or something like that, and he lives up to it like no joke.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Who's your globe? Who do we got there?
So in my globe we have, was it 732, 722?
Okay, I see it. I see it. I
Yeah.
see it.
So let me give you a little insight about this.
767's gonna whip that ass again, or
I'm not, I
seven?
don't think so. I don't think they will. So 796 is the new people into this bracket. They dropped down to it. 722 is a locked nation, and they are pretty damn strong. 732, well, 732 PIB. They're a repeat champion, and 767 took it last season when everyone fought 722 kind of deal. So from what I understand, 796 they're trying to go for it. And so is 732. But the issue is if you don't block 722 and you fight it in the tower, 722 is going to take it. That's the issue.
Really?
Yeah,
So
722
722's got the. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, they're definitely strong. I've fucked around with them in Elite War before. Okay, all right, so that's cool. What about the? Okay, I see 11. So I have no idea about these 1100 nations. I don't see 1111 in there. Is that a different globe?
I think
Or
11.
they didn't.
They're a
Okay.
different globe.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So who's winning this? Or is it a fucking flip of a coin?
It's should be a good one.
This will probably be the most anticipated best GC in the entire game, probably. This and one other.
41 is Game Over. 1156 is Marbury.
Okay. Heard of both of those guys?
Mufasa is 47, or yeah, they're in there, right? No. Oh, 63 and 56. Hold on.
Well, for the couple of good globes that are out there, I suggest for the new YouTuber, I feel like there's a YouTuber up there, Woody. Right?
Yeah. Yes, there is.
make sure that particular individual gets some GC streaming going for us old folks. You know, we want to kind of look in on the fun and riled up, GCs if ours aren't going to be fun. Even though 439 said they're gonna, come do their thing in the towers and, give it a good fair run for their money, at least in round one anyway. So, and I know, 373 and 528 are gonna, so round one should at least be fun, So we'll leave it at that. At least for my globe. And then, so what about up there? Is the 1300s and them those fuckers? They doing it yet?
I don't
No.
know if they're in, I don't think they're in the GC yet. I think they're still
Yeah,
in
I
the
think they're still filling their globe. They're filling their
but
number.
so there's two GC matches that are gonna be really
Who's winning
close.
904, 910? Wow, that's
that's
gonna be a
one,
good one.
that's one of them right there. That is one of them. That is
Oh,
yeah. That's gonna be an intense one.
That
oh
is
man,
going
that's
to
gonna
be.
be. I want to see that.
Well, if I
It's going to be.
don't have, yeah, if I don't have to work, I'm definitely going to be in one of the cities.
Clue, add some color to it. Tell us about the new player
Okay.
moves, and why is this one going to be interesting? What's some
So-
of the backstory?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this all started. 910 won the first GC or the second GC back in the day. They were competing against. Do you remember there's a guy called El Professor who was 9 something? Right. He left the game. Since then, we've won every GC since, and we had an absolute contest against 858. 3. That was our first GC win. 910 finished third that time round, but it was like against 858 was all out. I think we won by 2K in the end, and then they dropped down. Right, so they dropped down when the mergers were done.
Oh,
So basically, the
so
last
that definitely changed some shit moving around for you guys. That separated it. So you're right on the brink of moving down. If there's a group of mergers, you're going down too.
Yeah, quite possibly, and then we'll kind of go back with 858. But what it's meant is the last two GCs have been us 910, 925, right? Those two guys have been in both the finals, and then it was 877, but now they've dropped down, so they're against 858. They're a good nation. They're just a bit disorganized. And then 908 who are recently merged. But what you've got is 910 is Abu's nation, right? So you've probably seen his city, and he's recruited basically all the strays from Saudi Arabia in and around those nations. So there's a guy in 986 called Nabzi, who they've got now in 910. A guy from 905 because Patriot left called.
He's come back. He's come back recently, by the way.
Yeah, he's got his good city back. He had a bit of an issue with a Japanese scammer, so I believe. And yeah, so basically, Abu's managed to recruit pretty well, 3 or 4 big spenders. So they've filled that nation.
Is that the
nicely.
nation that's got a good handful of Muslim spenders?
Yeah, exactly. They're basically
Got
all
it.
Saudi. So
Yeah,
Nabsi,
I know exactly who that
Abu,
is.
Saif, the guy from 905. Basically, they're on a par with us. Like we were ahead of them in terms of spend, but yeah, I've got the least confidence I've got going into a GC, probably ever. So it's going to be even. It's going to be good.
And you
You'll
can't
see
forget
him
about
on Tuesday, League God.
Say that again, Big Bird.
You'll see him on Tuesday at Polar. I
Oh,
think.
Ron.
So I think we're forgetting about 925 because although 925 is a lock nation, they have a lot of big players in there.
Yeah, there's some extra dynamics as well that after the last 2 GCs, 925 and 910 have been going at it in the chat, right? Some pretty unsavory stuff. Maybe it's some poor translation, maybe not. But yeah, like a bit of
So-
racist stuff. So
I'm
basically,
putting their
they don't
bags
like
on.
each other.
So I gotta drain some bags.
Yeah,
I see
so
I see 910 and Polar this week.
yeah, exactly. You gotta yeah. Any draining of bags would be much appreciated.
LG, have
I
you
don't.
seen our polar lineup this week? There's going to be more level 45 max Titans in this polar round than most GCs.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Woody, 925 are big, but I think
Yeah.
the dynamic that we've got in that for us is 925 and 910. The last three GCs have kind of gone at each other in round two. Round two, we don't normally show up big. So what it's meant is, as long as neither of those nations wins by, as long as neither of those nations beats the other comprehensively, then it means we're kind of good. But I think this time round 910 will probably take like 35k, maybe 40k in that round two, which changes the dynamics of it all again.
You gotta also remember, okay, so 908 and 910, they're gonna come with numbers, and we all know that the numbers is what matters. I'm not saying 904 is not going to come with numbers, because I trust you. I know you guys are going to come with numbers. 925, if they talk to 722 and they talk to all the other locked nations, they're going to split up their whales for each round, and that makes it really, really hard.
I think they just don't have the power, right? They're obviously big. They're a big lock nation. They're, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, underlying nations. They've got one big guy. Lots of C41s, but they're those C41s that they're not that strong. 1600s, 1700s. And if you get 2 or 3 big C41s against
No,
them,
they got
just
like
crush
three
'em.
like max cities there.
Another
Yeah.
clue. What's so awesome for you guys is like you have to think about this. You got to think about what are the other three nations going to do? What do you guys need to do each round and kind of adapt and plan on the fly? Like you guys are getting a real GC finals. I'm excited for you guys. You know what I mean? Where you
Yeah,
got
I'm,
to
I'm
think
I
sitting
through.
back just putting the mute button on, man, just listening to Clue, and it's like, wow, like that's the good stuff, man. You know?
Yeah,
the
that's what
problem
like GC at its finest.
the problem we've got though is because and you guys are probably finding this as well, right? Because there's been such repetition in the GC lineups because of the lack of mergers. It means that even and Woody kind of saw this, right? Even in the semi-finals, we haven't had to have like a full on strategy dress rehearsal. We've got to the final. The final will be the first time where it's actually getting proper and kind of no one's really been in training because we've had a lack of competition up to the final, and then all of a sudden the final's going to be 100 miles an hour.
I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So for those nations,
Wait, no. N-A-U-R.
tip.
Yo, did I do something wrong?
Yeah, you got your mic on. No, so there's going to be a lot of competition, in that GC, and what other one was it, like 956 or 9 somewhere up there also in the 900s. They have another one that's going to be neck to neck as well. We were looking at that last night, so it's going to be really interesting on a lot of this stuff. Other than those, maybe I'm not sure about. I seen that Caffeine Queen was in here, but I don't see her anymore. I wanted to ask her how the 1200s are looking because I know that they have it up there. Let me go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing that right now. Yeah, yeah. Jeez. Well, maybe we can get him in here and he can give us a little rundown on how that's going to look because these brand new nations, or I want to say 1100 and up, they're really new to us. Oh, there's Caffeine Queen right there. I want to get her up here so she can talk about what's going up with the 1200s and above because we don't know much about that. So let's give her an invite to talk a little bit so we have an insight on that. I'm not
We're
seeing
gonna
her.
put like a 2.5 minute cap on. No, I'm kidding. She like kind of changed the spelling of her name a little bit.
I'm looking for her icon.
And tip, I agree, bro. The goat is the best for nation flag, whatever. Goat's the best. And I'm not excited. I just Big Bird. Now I see what you're saying. I didn't know that we all had polar together. This is going to be a fun one. I like this. This is going to be cool.
This is the Sweat Lord round.
Uh,
All that gold you've been saving
yeah,
is gonna go
let's
poof.
go.
All right,
Nah,
I found Caffeine Queen. There she is.
Hi.
Hey,
You
all
guys
right. I'm going to shut
summoned
up for a
me?
second.
There's
yeah, we're
people
sorry.
who want me?
We want to know about what's going on at the 1200s and their GCs because we only know all the way up to about 1,000, maybe 1111.
Ooh, baby.
Okay,
Okay.
let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Spill the
I
beans.
think I think the most juicy shit going on right now for the 1200s is the nations going up against 1225, the locked nation. I don't know if you guys watched my stream that I did. So they invited me over in 1230. They put me in a city so I could stream it because it was like so controversial. So I get in there for the first round and I kid you not, like my fucking jaw dropped. Like I have never seen anything like it before. Like 1225 wrapped around the whole fucking thing. They like rolled in like 190 deep. I feel like it was fucking insane. Like I like seriously go on my fucking YouTube if somebody can pull that fucking shit up and just like look at how many of these motherfuckers rolled up. Like they were freaking like reinforcing so fast. Like over 40 reinforcements, 50. Like it was the craziest thing I ever saw. Like it was they were like unbeatable, unstoppable. Um yeah,
We
it
got it
was
right here.
fucking crazy. I never seen anything like it before, ever. Like I can't even
Now, is that just
everyone
because there's a handful of cities that are just that much stronger than everybody else up there?
so they've had like I think it's five they've had five mergers, but technically they've had mergers. Some of the mergers were with nations that already merged. So a lot of them have like on their signature. And if you look at the spreadsheets, they have technically eight merges. It's eight fucking nations in one. It's literally eight nations in one.
That's what 1225 you said?
1225. And guess what? So you guys know Reaper. They have
Yeah.
them this void in head of state. It's their first, they're going in with them for void. We were
So
actually talking about that today.
so the Lock Nation has Reaper against the Void, right?
Yes,
So
uh,
it would if you could speak to Reaper, let
I
Reaper
did.
know to lower their BP, their troops as much as he possibly can. Like so
Yeah,
go
they have a
wild. Go
plan.
wild.
Yeah, he said that they have a plan. So, um, but he said like I had gone in, I was like chatting with all of them, and I was like talking to them about 1225, and then he was like, you know, like fuck them, like whatever, like you know, crazy. And then he was like, wait a minute, we have them in fucking void, and I was like, oh shit. So he said he like went and watched my entire stream, and he was like, what the hell, like this is some crazy shit. So yeah, that's what's going on. 1225 has been up in there, and so then I don't know, somebody sent me some shit actually maybe like an hour ago. It was a message sent to somebody in from the game. I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if it's real or not. Okay, but It says that they gave them like freaking. Let me pull this shit up real quick. It says that. So it's like in Chinese, and then like it says, "Dear Commander, to optimize the game experience and fix the current Borderlands ranking errors, we will be performing a server restart and maintenance, blah blah blah." And then in the bottom where it shows the freaking shit that they gave them, it was 20,000 AOZ coins, 100,000 in fucking gold, 30 rare earth material boxes, and 32-hour speed accelerators. I don't know if it's real or not, but if it is real, these motherfuckers are getting all sorts of crazy shit and then going up against us, going up
Uh,
against our nations.
let's try to filter a little bit. There's kids. People are watching this, and the kids are there.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys, for your
That's okay.
kids.
No, I get it. I get it. We get so involved with this that sometimes.
Sorry, guys. CQ comes unfiltered.
But okay, so looks like you guys. It's gonna be a tough one. So they came up with 250 people each round.
I didn't check second. I didn't go into second and third round. I believe that they rolled in deep for all the rounds from what I heard. They were like unstoppable.
Jeez, that's gonna be interesting. Who remembers those days? I do.
Like, I've never seen anything like this before. I don't know if you guys have, like, going up and against these unlocked. It was 130 cities. I was just informed it was 130 cities.
I think it gets easier, right? Because as the nations get older, you become stronger, more stronger relative to them. But this is kind of like those 1200s first or second GC, I don't know, whatever it is, and coming up against basically 250 nations at a time, like ants.
I mean,
they can
if
just
if
overpower.
Camo keeps status quo, they're gonna allow that Chinese nation to kind of be the front runner for a little while, and then give them the things first that everybody else gets. So if they're getting mergers and things of that nature, I feel because we had the same shit down in our globe with the 457s and the 555s of the world. Like, I think we've all kind of been through it, but I don't think it lasts long. You know, I mean, I even hear 693s kind of on the downward trend. I did hear that 635 is on a nice upward trend. Seen them kind of doing some things in Elite One. I've heard some good things coming out of there as well. 555 is still kicking ass, but I think a couple of the others are really, dying off a little bit.
I
I
just
know
don't I
722 is the same way.
I just don't understand how they're gonna put a nation like this up against like
This is the camel's way.
nations that are not getting the same like I'm not gonna say who sent me this, but I'm gonna post it in the comments right quick.
Oh, we love juicy stuff.
Okay, I just posted.
For that, like, first time, Jeff.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I just posted it the pics in the comments, but I'm not saying that these pics are real. I don't know if they are or not. It was said that this was sent somebody from possibly 1225 if they were actually from there. But someone in 1225 received this message. I don't know if it's true or not. Okay, I don't even know if it's real, but this is what it is.
This
And
is
if it's
not real.
real, I don't know if it's real or not.
Just so this is not real, and I'll tell you why. If you zoom into it, you're gonna
Uh-huh.
see like it looks like someone. Look
Well, see
at
where
the
it
word
says bug?
right, but look at the word fixed. Look behind the word fixed. You see the discoloration. It looks like someone just like white outed it or tan outed it, and then put.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. It says bug. And look at where it says bug on the Chinese message. I don't know.
yeah. Let me look. Let me look.
In English, it says bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't freaking know. I don't think it's real. Yeah.
The words. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It does look
Real?
the English version is from what I Google translated to know what it was saying. I didn't know what it said.
Okay.
Do you think it's real?
Chinese version looks real. The American version don't.
The American version is what I translated because I wanted to read it in English. I did that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I used that. Yeah, I
Okay,
Google
that makes
lensed it to
okay,
translate
that
it. The
makes sense.
Chinese, yeah, the Chinese version is what was sent to me, and then I was like, okay, let me translate this shit. I don't know what the hell this is.
What, you can't read character names? Damn it.
No, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, so that's
All right, well,
supposedly
let's move on from the GC stuff, Alina, up there. Who's 255 and who's below us? Anybody share that? I don't even know who's down there in the GC. Let's go around.
Oh, we already know who's gonna win that one.
Yeah, I mean it's always fun to see who's fighting who, though.
That
I
is
mean,
true.
Because
That is
the other
it's always fun to
interesting one, I guess. Well, for 1200s, I would say 1189 is definitely going to win. In my grouping, I would say we didn't participate. 1217 didn't participate. Um, I would say 1189 probably has the biggest chance of winning that one. I can't imagine that anyone else is going to be able to beat them.
That's what's up. I think it's going to be a fun GC for a good few nations out there that are looking for, you know, some dominance or, get their first win. I like the fact that there's a couple of, new people out there that either came down from, merger results or whatever the case is. But they're like the new guy on the block, and they get to show up there in the finals. So I think that's those are always cool storylines to see if somebody like that can pull it off.
so
Not just
I do gotta say something now that this is being brought up. So last night, Tip's gonna just like totally overglory himself. Last night, me, Tip, and Cowboy, we tested out the almighty question: melee attack, cross nation versus melee defense, cross nation, and
Hold on. He said we weren't allowed to until we read the message. All right.
oh,
I posted it on chat. Go ahead and read it, Woody.
okay, it says, okay.
Go
The
ahead.
almighty strategist, master formation. Did you write this, Tip, or did Raz write this? Conqueror of chaos and whisperer of troops. The stars tremble, the enemies flee, and even the battlefield. What the bows in respect? He has bestowed of. Oh my God,
that's
Tip.
Chat GPT. That's what that is.
Okay.
He has bestowed upon us the sacred knowledge of
How about that?
formation. May his boss never die and never fade. His reports always gleam gold, and his enemies forever be zeroed.
Oh my God. Okay. We did the testing between me and Cowboy. Cowboy is stronger than me, of course, so he was going to win no matter what. But we did testing, and it does turn out to be that melee defense is better than melee attack, guys. So the people that has been listening to me for years, and Raz has been listening for years. There it is. There it is.
What? Could you say it a little louder? The people in the back couldn't hear you.
Tip, shut up. But yeah, we tested it out, and I'm always about if I get proven wrong, I'm gonna put it out there. It is what it is.
I mean, I feel like I handfully did that years ago. I mean,
I know
I was
that.
I was melee attack before I was melee defense. So yeah, I mean, it should. I mean, people just gotta listen. Like I don't really know what else to say. People just gotta listen. And take the advice that's being offered at a super high level by people that have been playing the game for 4+ years on an everyday basis at this juncture. There's people that have come before me now, and I'm almost 5 years into the fucking game. So
We have a
just listen. I don't know what else to say. It's like my kids. Just fucking listen to what the fuck I'm telling you. That's all you gotta do. And it's such a difference, man. It's a monstrous difference. It should have never been a really a debate, honestly. I don't. Yeah, because I had it. I mean, that's what I was prior to defense, and I mean, it was probably a year plus ago now,
It's
or
a
long, probably even
potential.
longer.
It's a potential 44 or 45,000 difference in troops if you did all 6 correctly.
So right here, Dill Pickles asking, is defense better than HP? No, HP is still king, but you wanna
Yeah.
also put defense on that on top of that.
So with
So,
that being said, what would you say would be like a healthy balance, like stat wise, for that? So are
that
we talking like 1200 melee defense, 1200 attack, 1200 HP, like something like that, or just
I mean, the way it
over
seems to me,
resounding defense?
the way it seems to me is if you work your unworldlies properly, your the way your stats are going to lay out with all of the other things that come into play, right? Because you get attacked from many places, and where it kind of lets you seem to get very similar numbers organically, right? As so long as you have the proper success, you know, um, uh, skills chosen. They seem to have organically the same or similar attack and defense numbers. Now, your HP should be substantially higher, right, than your than your defense or your attack. As what you should focus on, I think, as Woody just said, HP is king. I think everybody knows that. Well, it's not king. I mean, attack is king, but anywho, the the melee attack and the melee defense tend to, without, being a super whale or something crazy like that, they tend to be very similarly placed. Again, so long as your success stars are, chosen properly or spun properly. If you have the proper, things there and you're leveling up your success star skill levels kind of similarly, you should again organically have very similar attack and defense numbers, my opinion, for melee anyway. And I think you should also have very similar regular attack and say HP. I think those are two things that should, almost run hand in hand with each other throughout the process. And I think that the melee attack and melee defense does the exact same thing. Organically, while you're raising these new skills with all the plane equipment and the Titan equipment and roster equipment and all these equipments everywhere and dragons being done, all these things. Again, you're gonna because the melee defense is hard to find, right? It's only in a handful of places where you're going to get, attack and where it touches melee and long range and mid range for that matter. It covers kind of everything when you get, attack of all troops for conversation. So, however, the melee defense side of things, again, those are few. Those are a skill that's kind of few and far between. So you have to focus on it in places, specifically in the 6 star, because it's going to be very rare that you find it elsewhere.
Is
But to
that
answer your
melee
question,
defense applying to the golems also?
no, the golems have their own melee, their own HP and defense. So then it's a stagnant number. It doesn't grow.
Okay. Cool. Appreciate that, fellas.
yeah, like I said, we took the time and we spent a little money last night, and we just wanted to get to the end of this because we're like Lee guy said, he said it many, many, many times ago. The only reason why a lot of us thought that the attack was is because we're trying to burn that front line as fast as possible. So, like on paper, it looks good, but when you test it out, it's
And
it looks good.
it's not the attack that's going to do that. It's the reductions, and it's not necessarily. It's so many different things, but the defense is the counter to the attack to melee. So when you're taking that particular thought into the conversation, that 45,000 troop difference that Tip just threw at everybody's face. That's why. It's because you're just canceling out the attack and what's coming at you. So it's coming from a place of whatever the long range or the mid range, whatever the Cowboys long range, right? If I remember correctly.
I think the reality is with melee defense or melee attack is
And your guys'
melee
thoughts?
attack. Melee attack is an incredibly inefficient stat, right?
So while
Your
Woody's
melee
taking
attack.
some time to answer, would you recommend? I know your emphasis was on the 6-star upgrades, but would you recommend swapping out an actual skill for melee defense? Like
Yeah.
let's just say
So
You-
you're
taking
talking
away
about
long range
regular
expert and
skills?
swapping it in for melee defense.
I wouldn't do that. No,
Okay.
no. Those skills should be the exact same across the board, and it should be melee HP, and then it should be the attack of whatever your choice is, and then the expert of whatever your choice is, whether it's mid or long range. And that should be stagnant for everybody across the board. And nobody should ever change those things unless you're trying to cheaply test something, because those things come a lot more, whatever. I recently did it, did some testing with some off-fish stuff. So, but those all, at least your war officers anyway, those things are very, very specific. All the other officers, already preloaded, if you know what I mean. So the war officers is something that you can choose and something that you could fuck up easily, I guess. But in my opinion, and somebody can prove me wrong, I guess somewhere down the line, but all 6 of your war officers, and I say this from a loud hilltop, all 6 of your war officers should be melee HP across the board. And then the expert and the attack of whatever your city chooses, whether it be mid range or long range. You should have those 2 skills on each and every, one of your officers. And if you don't have it that way, you're doing it wrong. Um,
Hey, I got a question for Weekend or anyone. For Zeus and Tifa, where you would have 2 attacks and 2 HPs, would you have the 5th one be melee defense or melee reduction on the 6-star?
Are you talking about war officers? Or are you talking about drill?
Talking about
Tifa and Zeus.
Zeus, there's no reductions. You would never use the reductions on those. Only when you're referring to damage. All your reductions
Yeah,
are going to
melee
be in
reduction
drill.
or melee defense for the 5th skill is what I was asking.
Again,
a lot of
you would
folks
never use
for-
reductions in war
You're
officers.
talking about melee damage reduction tip.
Talking about
Melee
6 stars.
6 stars.
Oh, damage.
So the reduced damage taken from melee. is what
Oh,
you're
that's a
talking
Woody question.
Rinaldi, I think folks are mixed on this. I
9,
personally
10.
do not. And I think LG, correct me if I'm wrong, you do not run melee damage reduction on Zeus or Tifa.
I don't, and the only reason I would is if somebody were coming like all the time at me with some crazy melee attack. I might, like if everybody started listening to Tip Troll a month or 2 ago and really started doing melee attack like at a high level, right? Because I hope everybody knows Tip was trolling everybody, but I'm sure some dumb motherfuckers slotted up melee attack like it was nobody's business, But hey, here nor there, when those things happen, you're putting yourselves in like a this like predicament. But like the damage reduction, side of it, I think me and Bo did this math, or Bo did the math and told me, I should say. It would, if I load 1 damage reduction, I would cancel about 150 melee attack, right? Roughly, as an exchange. But I'm doing that so much more with other reductions and defense and attack the melee and all these other things that I don't tend to do it. And I don't think anybody's done it and been successful with it since like maybe Sayaz or something like that from 52. Like maybe back in the day, before drill officers came out with other reductions and things of that nature to really kind of spruce things up. So the answer to your question is I choose defense, in that slot for Zeus and the other one there that, I'm kind of loading up on the HP and the attack on. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing the damage reduction there unless maybe you're the guy that tends to, be the first to go up against like that 2200 melee attack guy. What is that, Beast or something? I forget who it is.
Beast, Stucky.
Yeah,
Those
there's a couple crazy melee attack guys. If you're fighting
Yeah, I
those
do think
guys like
those guys
every
a
other
decent
day,
amount.
if you fight them every other day, then you might take one for the team. Then you know what I'm saying, and
I'm
that's a
thinking about getting
team
one of
conversation.
them.
That's a conversation you have with the team, and it's like, hey, I'm going to do this for this specific reason. So when we have these attacks with him in Polar or Wasteland or however you see him often, then then yes, I would maybe suggest it. But if you're talking on a 1v1 U mines, the strongest type build in a selfish way, I would 100% do melee defense, brother, and not look back. And just leave it at that. Because really, again, nobody's running damage reduction, and they haven't for quite some time. And I think it's pretty much because of the drill officers, and probably a few other
Hmm.
things. But I don't see. I would probably think if I slotted a melee reduction, damage reduction right now, and went and fought somebody, I bet you it would be a negative impact. I would
Hey, Lee
I would
God.
almost bet money.
Lee God, I love to use this as an example to kind of solidify everything that you're saying. Camel will always want us to spend heavy and or charge us the most for the things that benefit us the most. So if you go through and you look at the plane, you look at the Titan, you look at everything, is there anywhere you can increase that damage that's in the unworldly drill that we're talking about? Anywhere else in the entire game? There's
No,
not.
that is it.
There's not. So if it was a great item, Camel would put it on the warplane. Camel would put it on the officers' equipment. They would put it on the Titan equipment. They would put it somewhere else, and they want to charge us out the wazoo for it, and they do not. So
There
let
is
that set in.
there,
Yeah, I think that's a
there
good
is a
point.
slight
Yeah,
counterpoint
I
to
didn't even
this.
think about that. So yeah, that's like the cherry on top. So perfectly said, because yes,
I
I
personally
think we're
haven't
all
done it.
smart men here.
I was just kind of curious on people's like opinion on that because damage is
Yeah, I
like
mean,
king,
I feel like
so to speak.
there's a good handful of guys who do run it up there. I know there's a couple of guys in the 700s that do, and they do really well, and they're a couple of the strongest guys in the game, and I just don't see a majority of people, running it, and I personally don't. So, I'm always going to kind of just tell people my own experience. I've never slotted it though, so I'll also add that,
I had
I
it
have no,
slotted on my
Let me
account, LG, and I took it out and tested it, and I
well,
did
there you
better
go.
without it. I
Yeah,
did
that
do
would be
better
enough
without
for
it.
me.
let
And
me let me
I had two triple S's, level 30s, took them
Wait a
out,
second.
replaced
Let,
them.
let
Go
Oh,
ahead.
Clue get
here comes Holbrook. I hear him.
let me offer you two counterpoints to this as
Oh,
well.
okay. I
Right,
thought it was Holbrook. Damn it.
this is important, right? So every time Camel releases something, there is
Clue, what you
a
got,
given.
brother?
There's a
Or were you
given.
just sniffling in the fucking mic?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Clue's talking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Clue.
Okay, so every time Camel releases something, there's a give and a take, right? So warplane, and a lot of the time, the net result is zero. For example, there's more increased
I
damage to
cannot hear
melee.
him, so my bad.
Hang on, is it no good?
You're good. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go.
Can everyone hear me? Okay,
Yeah, we can
so
hear you.
every time there is a give and
I
a
don't know.
take,
I'm
right?
sorry. I don't know. I didn't know if Clue's talking or not. I can't hear Clue if he was.
Yeah, Clue's talking.
Can everyone
Okay,
hear
I'll
me
shut the
apart from
fuck up.
LG?
I can't hear
LG,
him
I think
either.
maybe you guys have him on mute.
Clue, you're good.
Okay, so there's always a give and a take whenever there's a release. There's generally those releases are net zero, but the ordering of them is important. So, for example, in the last warplane, you get your increased damage warplane equipment, increased damage to melee on the second. You don't get your reduced damage to melee
He might
until
need
the
to leave
last.
and come back in. I can't hear anything.
Okay, all right. I'll go out and come back in and see if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, I was hearing him too.
Yeah,
Okay.
weird.
Yeah.
Any better?
Yeah, I can hear you. LG, can you hear him?
I can
Clue,
hear you, Clue.
Clue, you want to say something?
Yeah. So can people hear me? Right. So what I
I
was
can hear it
saying
now.
is,
I had to log out and log back in. It was probably me for some reason. I'm walking through my house, changing Wi-Fi and shit. Who the fuck knows?
okay. So what I was saying is that whenever there's a release, there's a give and a take, and a lot of the time the net result is 0, but the ordering of when you get things is important. So on the war plane equipment, the second skill you get, on the second one you get the increased damage to melee. You don't get the reduced damage to melee. Sorry, you don't get the reduced damage to your melee until the last one on the 6th one, right? So what it means a lot of the time of releases is that generally they're net 0 over the whole thing if you max it all, but people can't max them all, at the same time. So this is where early adopters or the people who max them or increase them earlier get better results. Right, that's the context. The only thing that hasn't been reduced, and they're just Camel just giving us more and more, is all attack. Right, there's more reduced damage from long, more reduced damage from mid, but the proportion of your average melee attack versus long range attack buff has increased, and that's because effectively they're giving us long range attack, but they're giving us as much long range attack reduction, right? They're giving us as much mid range attack as they're giving us mid range attack reduction. What they're not giving us is melee attack reduction. Now, not a lot of people run melee. So my point here, if you believe it, is the proportion of long range attack to melee attack has changed over time with the last releases, officer equipment, warplane equipment, such that melee attack as a proportion, on average, when you would take into account all the attacks and the attack reductions, is fundamentally changing. So with that, I would say that a melee damage reduction is more important than it has been before. The question that you need to ask yourself is it important enough to have it on now? It's certainly more important than it was a year ago or 18 months ago. And if Campbell keep giving us more all attack and long range and mid.
Oh, we lost him. We lost him. Clue, we lost him. Yeah, he
Okay, so it's him
I
we're
think
losing,
maybe
not
my
me.
yeah, I think he got a phone call. That's usually what happens when you get a phone call.
Oh, got it. All right, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think there's, just to kind of hang on, I kind of know the hallway here going down, and I think that there's an argument to be had that with all the release of the drill officers and the machinist, I think it's called. So we got a couple of new officers and likely more to come with the machinist there over time. So the long and short of it is, I mean, there's definitely an argument to be had that, the mix of, the drill officers and the machinists, what we thought to be very stagnant and very matter of fact, level or 6-star skills in the war officers, could potentially be mixed up a little bit. But in arguments to that, if, unless you're only, fighting certain people, but I just don't see how you could even fathom taking away like a long range attack reduction when primarily, call it 65% or more, 70% of players are long range players.
I think
So
they're
even
locked, right?
trying to think about taking away the long range damage reduction in your war officer setup blows my mind. I don't see the damage reduction add value because the guys who are running big melee attack and getting all these melee attacks or whatever.
I think an interesting question
on this, unless
an interesting
the stat averaging on that is nuts, and you're wasting your fucking time, and you're gonna watch your melee melt away 1 versus 11, and when you can beat that guy that just whacks you and 10 other people, you can beat that guy one-on-one, you know? And if you guys are following me. So the guys who are running these like, these style of builds, I hate to like throw salt in them, but I think these are like really solo style players. And that's okay. If you want to be solo style players, you really like I don't know, DoD Triangle War style events, like do your thing. But if you like Elite War or Void War or something like that, your 6-star would be much better use, somewhere else than melee damage reduction or whatever, because, again, your stat averaging and all these things that are happening real time is just, kind of really just go out the window, because we all know that, the bottom half of the Alliance, their melee attack numbers are what are you fucking 300, something stupid and ridiculous.
Mine?
And no,
Mine's
I'm
like
just saying, no, just the bottom half of your Alliance. What's their average melee attack, you think?
the average melee attack is probably going to be around 1200. With all these extra all troop ads.
No. Right now, on today's date, what is the bottom half of your non-spending members?
Okay. So about
Listen to
probably
the
like
fucking question.
probably like 500, honestly. 500,
It's
600.
probably closer to like 7, right? Let's give them
Okay, 7. We'll go 7.
it's probably closer to. Well, I know, like my guys. I'll use my guys as an example. It's probably like in the 700-800 range, just by default. These guys have probably 1,000 melee HP, so they probably have 700 attack or something like that. Just kind of throughout the process. So like, if I'm out there running 2,200 melee attack, like the Ducky or the Beast guy or whatever the case is, and again, that damage reduction is going to wipe out about 150 of that attack for convo's sake. So it's just, in my opinion, it's just such a waste of a slot. And those guys running that big melee attack, I feel like is just an absolute waste to be, again, using that slot for that particular value. There's a podcast, not long. I personally dropped the 30 melee HPs, in a couple of my war officers and went melee attack, but that was me, and I tested it, and it worked kind of a little bit better for myself for other reasons, I think. And it's probably because I'm a max player in many capacities, and I don't think that there's a good reason for anybody to try and run that melee attack setup unless they're trying to do a certain thing. Again, like if you love like the DoD or I think that works really well, in those style events to kind of mow people over. If you set it up right with some cool skins and things like that. If that's your only event. But if you have a team and you're really doing up some stuff, I don't think running big melee attacks is going to do you any good, because you're the bottom half of your Alliance is not going to be spending, or focusing on any melee attack. You got to remember what you're telling the rest of your team. Focus on LRA, focus on melee HP. This is what you need to do, right? And even before a lot of these, non-spending members can even get their 6-star open, or even, attempt to change what Camel gives you, right? Like you got to understand, a lot of these people aren't doing that. It just kind of they're working with what they get over time. But the things that they can, manipulate or change in the very beginning are those 3 skills, right? We just kind of went over that, touched on it. Those basic skills that you get, we get up to the 4th star, I think it is, to open all 3 of them. Those 3 right there, you tell your entire Alliance, listen, you focus on these 2 attack ones and your melee HP. So when you go into a group battle together, your stat averaging isn't going to be as bad, because everybody else in your Alliance is also focusing on melee HP and attack. Now, if you start focusing on some other shit, i.e. melee attack, You got all these slots focusing on melee attack. Not one other person, for the most part, is focusing on that, man. You're going into a group battle and that fucking 2200 melee attack, bro, is probably realistically like, what do you think, Tip? Like 1200? If I'm being lucky, right? If I'm being generous, it's 1200 when he gets into a group attack with all of his fucking misfits down on the bottom with, and those guys are Nation 800s. So their melee attack is probably like 600, dude. So the stat averaging is so ridiculous. It's such a waste for a gentleman like fucking Beast or Duck or whoever's running that shit. It's
Hey,
such a
Lee,
waste because
Lee
That's
God,
true. I didn't even think of that, Lee God, in the group battles. You're absolutely right. That makes
Lee God,
total sense.
Lee God,
bro, we put
your mic is going in and out.
Hey guys, I'm gonna interrupt the conversation real quick. Just gonna remind folks that raise your hand to talk, and then we're asking you to leave the stage. We got Mikey and Bayou who've been waiting patiently with some questions. So no offense to everyone, but I'm gonna clear off the stage for them. If you want to use the stage, then jump back on. Give me a sec.
That's fair. I think we also need to after they have their time talking, talk about like that new island
run with the
piece.
questions.
I don't have a question. I just was here to talk about the GC. I kind of missed the beginning, so I'm just listening. I'll tap in when it's necessary, I guess.
I just had a quick question, LG. So basically what you're saying is only focus on getting the damage increase and reductions from the elite equipment facility, the plane equipment, and basically the officer equipment, right? Don't waste your time getting those reductions for reducing damage or increasing damage underneath the 6 stars.
The long range reduction taking damage, damage reduction, and the mid range damage reduction taken is very crucial to have. We're talking about the melee reduction for damage. I have one. I used to have two. I took one off because in the 700s we have so many people with high melee attack. I leave one on just for that reason.
Underneath your 6 star, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, Woody, you were very big even up to a year and a half or 2 years ago about the reduced damage for melee troops. Has your opinion changed with all this new data coming in?
As of last night, it changed because me, Cowboy, and Tip. Cowboy actually funded the test on his city. Obviously, it's a strong city, and he hit me with the melee attack, how it usually normally is, and then he switched it to melee attack to cross nation melee attack to cross nation melee defense, and he hit me, and the difference was 7,615 troop difference. So. And that was just one stat change. So, like, just by seeing that myself, and I didn't buff up or anything, nor did he, that said to me, like, well, fuck, like that is a big difference. Imagine if all of them were defense. So, but yeah, again, I have the reduced damage taken from melee, one of them now, versus the total 85.5, only because the 700 has high melee attack. But now after they hear this, they switch it. I might be able to remove that one too.
55.5.
If you read the comments, it's almost perfect. Sean said it with current items to be max, blah blah blah. Here are essentially your stats. We're about 2,400 melee HP, about 1,700 melee defense, 1,700 attack. Again, they're kind of even organically. And that's a fully maxed whale. So the melee attack players that are anywhere between 1,800 to 2,000 plus, these are a waste and essentially a handicap. You could be placing those things and stat averaging your melee HP or your melee defense, right? Like again, it's all a focus of what you try and do as as an alliance or potentially an individual, depending on who you are. But like these are things like I literally it's such a great example. I wish I had the reports from Deadpool. We had 465 in GC this past semis. and Saki is a pretty strong player at a 4.65. And Deadpool 1v1 on attack, beat Saki, right? And then on defense with Titans, Saki came in on a tower, and there's like 10 players in this tower, and Deadpool rain this tower. So there's 11 defenders, one attacker, and Deadpool had his Titans full fleet, same fleet that he just beat the guy with 5 minutes earlier, and he lost the battle. Saki beat the whole, cleared the whole tower, and so I started doing a little bit of research into why the fuck that happened, if you know what I mean. And looking at some of those stat players, man, and it is a real thing. So if you start to think about what we tell our players to do, and you look at things from a larger perspective other than yourself, you have to remember it's not just you. It's not just you spending money. The majority of your team probably doesn't spend money unless you're like, even my, whatever. Long story short is there's a bottom half of the team, and that bottom half of the team is right now should be being told by you as the leader, of that particular, alliance, should be being told to focus on their attack and their melee HP. Those are the two things that they should be told to focus on. Nothing really else. And that's the only thing they can focus on via the skills in their officers. Everything else is they're not getting there anytime soon. They can ask that question when they get there, but until they get there, focus on that. So you as well should not be focusing on anything else really other than those two, style of things. So when you start to go veering off to the beaten path, and those guys, I'm telling you, that bottom half of your team, there's a player that's going to join that battle. That guy's got like 150 melee attack, guys. I'm letting you know. I saw it myself in my own alliance. Okay, the player's got 150 melee attack. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it because the guy don't spend money, and blah 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 blah. But he's going to show up every battle, so you have to think around those things. You got to play the game that that we're all kind of playing together. So long and short of it is we're all focusing these things, and you're almost doing yourself a disservice, by running melee attack and not something that is being, especially if you're giving up melee HP for it. Like that's crazy. And I know the Duck, and I know they kind of became a thing because they have the highest melee attack in the game. I don't think I've seen it higher than those guys. But I think they would do a lot better for themselves if they switched it up a little bit. But even anybody else, I think Sean said it really well. Like anybody running that 1800 plus in the melee attack range, hit my DM, like shoot me your officers. Like I'll tell you what to get, and it's probably fairly clear if you just look at the officer yourself, but that melee attack to stat averaging thing is real, guys. It is real. Well, stat averaging is real across the board, but I watched it, in a hellfire way this weekend, and so yeah, it is definitely something everyone should be kind of paying attention to. If you're doing the off the beaten path stuff, and typically there's whales involved in that stuff, so which is cool. You got someone there that's ready to support your nation and do whatever they need to. But again, I think everybody should just listen. And that doesn't mean let's have a shit ton of cities that are all identical. I think Clue said it really well while he was in the chat. When things get released, things start to, that's how we, get different, and
I think
through that building of process of maxing plane equipment now for Convo's sake, like that's how, it's going to be different for the next year, and my stats are going to be different than Maverick's, going to be different than Ronaldo's, going to be different than every other, pneumatical whale out there. It's going to be different than Tip and Bo and like all those, guys. It's going to be different for the next year or so because I'm going to upgrade this before I upgrade that. They went this way before they went that way. And, so everyone's going to be a little bit different, for, I think at least the next 6 months or so. You know,
Lee guys. So we have Bayu here. And I know you were asking about what their matchup for the GC is, and he's going to be able to
oh, cool.
tell us and stuff like that if he mics up.
Yeah, I'm here. Just 1 second, and I'll take a look at what the finals are.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And then after that, we can get into that new island piece that I think that's OP. Well, not OP, but it's probably one of the best ones we've seen for a while.
Mikey, while Bayou is looking, did you have a question you wanted to throw in?
Yeah, man, I did. But Lead God, going back to the melee. So I think it's Tifa and Zeus, the reduced damage taken from melee troops. I have a feeling that you don't have it, and you're at 55.5, which I believe is all the gold equipment. Do you recommend getting rid of those 6-star skills?
I mean, you know, I think it's individual based, you know, and I've personally never ran
the
it.
Beast doesn't have it. You don't have it. The Beast doesn't have it. I notice a lot of the mega whales. It's like 50-50. I noticed with you guys. I see a lot of you guys at 55.5.
That's where I'm at, man, and I don't plan on changing anytime soon. So, you know, would I suggest it? I mean, I would have to look at some other things, but I don't have it. I have no experience with it, and you know, so yeah, I don't think.
You gonna get rid of yours, Woody?
I've got rid of one right now already.
Okay.
And I'm about like 60% sure I'm probably going to get rid of the other.
All right, that's 2 slots to open up right there.
That's 2 slots to open up.
It's significant. It's significant.
And I did put melee defense on one of the slots.
Of course.
But like I said before, I know there's a lot of people in 700s that got really high melee attack, and they're monsters. So how do I protect myself from that? That's the only reason why I still have it on there right now.
I mean, the easy answer to that is the first question is, regardless of what you do, you can't beat them in the mines. Or am I wrong?
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
So okay. So regardless of you having it or not, you're not beating them in the mines. So like, what are you protecting yourself from?
That's fair. That is fair.
It's literally the only thing. Because if you see them in a group attack, you know, like again, we kind of just went over those things, but you know, like, you know, it's all circumstantial. But if you're talking about a void war, I mean, maybe it's a little bit different. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I don't see what you're protecting yourself from. You know, like
that is fair. That is fair.
You know, I think for what you do and the content that you provide and what I've seen your alliance do, I think that those slots would be much better used elsewhere. You know, and you know, if I want to take a look, I will. You know, but at the end of the day, like, yeah, man, I know you've been on it forever, and the reason why you've been on it forever is because you're an OG, and you came and you played with Saez, and you went, you know, you were there in 52, and you know, reduction, and damage, you know, blah 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 blah. That word damage, you still say it to this day. When I see that word damage, that's something you got to have, you know, and not to say that that's an, you know, it's not to say it's like an old school thing, but I do think that the Saez ways are, you know, definitely a little bit of the past, and I don't see anybody. Let's put it this way: anybody who did have damage reduction, right? I fucked them up, man. I fucked them up heavy. You know, I'll just leave it at that, brother. You know, anybody who had that damage reduction to melee, slotted and. You know, because there's a couple. I remember I played that, what's his Zip, Small War. He thought he was the strongest, and it was like, I don't know, probably a couple of years back. But, you know, I won $100 off one of his guys, had a little side bet. I sent it to my guys. But he had all the damage reductions. I did a little whatever scouting on him before the war. And, you know, he had all those, you know, fancy, smanchy things in his war officers. And he got tore up, dude. You know, and I say that with respect. Small War was a cool dude. But,
I do remember. I do remember that report and that hit. I do remember that.
Yeah, I gave him defense first too. Even I didn't even I gave him defense first, and kind of just bounced off of it. And so yeah, I haven't ran across it, and and I think there is a place for it somewhere in a specific scenario, but I don't see anybody out there in my in my mind that would that would need it. Now, I do think that if you've got your entire, if let's say you're 858 or 904, if your entire alliance slotted it and your entire alliance had 6-star ability and your entire alliance, so we could have some conversations like that, and I think it could go another way, but I don't think in a real world scenario would it be effective,
All right. Bayou's back. I think you might be able to give us an update about their GC.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So for those that can't read too, you raise your hand, the button's at the bottom left, then there's another hand next to it with 3 little lines. Once you raise your hand, somebody up here will allow you to speak. Then you push that hand next to it and you move yourself to the stage. You'll automatically be muted and then you can unmute yourself.
Like like Disney, Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that. It's because what happens is that any kind of monetization it has on this video, the second you show them, it's gone. Like gone.
Yeah, so support our
All right, Bayou, stage is yours, brother. What's going on out there in my favorite nation out there,
Hold on,
255, just bullying everybody?
hold on, real quick. You can send me the news personal.
Hey, look, just first off, I want to say how much we miss you in Polar and Wasteland. We really wish it
Bayou,
wouldn't have changed
did you,
time.
bro? I would almost rather play you guys. Did you see the matchup that we have this week?
I didn't.
621, 799, 910, and us, dude. It's literally like four. Oh, and like I think Nation 2's in there as well, but whatever. I don't think they really try. There's literally 4 nations. It's going to be pretty fun, I think, though, honestly. But yeah, it's going to be
Awesome, good
expensive.
deal.
I'm going to be done in like 10 minutes, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, look, we've got a 52, 171, and 273 in the finals. Certainly is going to be a big challenge. I think we all know that everyone wants to, get us and knock us off the throne. We do know of a couple of nations that are going to be working together. We certainly tried in the semifinals to try and orchestrate some nations that could help and support us. Didn't quite work out that way. The semifinals were kind of tough with a nation 30. That was a
Okay.
tough
Yeah.
battle. Yep. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing
Um,
with you, brother. That's all.
no, but nation 30 fought us tooth and nail in the first and the third round. Look for fun after we had already wrapped it up. We took a shot at Reaper, 500 million BP with about 5 minutes left in the third round. So that was a lot of fun. We didn't get him there in the end. He got about 12 people to reign. But other than that, it was looking pretty good on our side. But we're looking forward to the finals. We'll try and come in, 200 strong, for the rounds that we participate in, and even in that off round, we're lucky to be able to get at least 200 to show up for that off round as well. So we'll certainly put our best foot forward and hope we come away with a win.
Hey, real quick. Someone I don't remember who it was. Someone in one of the chats, either last night or today, posted a screenshot from what a VIP said about the ISO issue that we're having with some people not being able to buy packs. If you have that, please, because I'm talking to Camel right now on the side. If you have that screenshot, please post it from that VIP saying what they said, so I can get clarification what exactly is going on. Because I can still buy stuff packs off my iPhone, but if there's an issue and that VIP is saying that we're trying to lead people all over to only buying blue coins only, they're going to cut a significant of revenue off by doing that. So I'd like to get an answer from Camel if you guys can send that screenshot.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that 255's got a nice little power gap there for without some mergers. I think there's it's going to be fun. Your guys' finals. I think that 171 and 52 are always a tough bunch. I think that 273 is heavily populated, but the fact that they're like split up and all wonkied up like that, I think it's a little bit different. But I think it'll be fun for you guys. I mean, obviously, I think it'll be a pretty easy win for you. I know you're trying to be respectful there, but and I appreciate that. Type of player that you are. But just knowing what's going on down there, knowing those nations now that I do know who's there. I think you guys are going to kind of take that one home once again. So that'd be cool to see.
Well, we certainly appreciate, the accolades, but we are expecting a tough fight. We'll be prepared as always. We'll save up for the next couple of weeks, and we're going to give it our best.
Yeah, same here in 425, man. We're kind of doing the same thing, preparing for a fight. Never know what the Chinese are going to do. I think 373 is always a fair opponent. We actually have them in Void War as well this week. So Cam was just shoving 373 all around us. Maybe they're going to merge us soon or something dumb. Who knows? All right. But the end of the comp, I think it'll be cool for you guys to grab another one, man. So I appreciate you giving us
good luck to
a
you
little
too,
bit of
man.
look. Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. I think Bird was mentioning a couple of weeks ago, or I think it was last podcast even, for the mantras anyway. These certain island items that people should be paying attention to grab. We did get a really cool new island item, for the group, buying event, that just got released a couple of days ago. So that's another one of those purple island item guys where it's got fleet size, at the level 6 and level 12. So yeah, definitely, if you're going to be spending a little bit of money, that's I know it sucks to kind of hoard your tickets or whatever you want to call them, but I think it would be advantageous for those of you guys spending, a budgeted, amount of money on a monthly basis, call it sub $500 or, something along those lines. I would highly suggest maybe for a few months or a couple months or whatever it takes to at least get it to level 6, saving your money and spending it, during that event or this event that we currently have going. I think it's still open or ended last night. I'm not sure. I haven't logged in yet today. But anywho, definitely a good one, man. It's one of those little island items that level 6, it's right there. Nice little 1,000 fleet bump. So pay attention, you leaders out there. Direct your guys and your team accordingly. 1,000 troops across 100 guys, man. It's a couple of troops in a big group attack, man. So I think that'll be really good for everybody. And again, it's the Camel's giving it to us in the buy event, so it's like you're almost kind of ridiculous to you know not try and prioritize that particular event and get the that little thing going a little bit. I do also want to, talk just a little bit of, jumping back into these war officers and all of this other things. Like, let me ask you guys a question. I mean, maybe just some of the guys who are in the stage here. Do you guys not have like the fucking standard fucking shit that you should have, or does everyone want still trying to? Oh, I do shit differently. Are we still doing that shit? Because
I
there's
mean,
like, it's
I
like a
got
real
this.
fucking basics. Like this is what you should have.
I
Like sure,
I
there's a
got
couple of
most.
guys that.
I got most of everything that I need. There's like maybe 3 that I gotta switch out. It's just I'm saving up for the
And yeah, and that's a
house
spend thing,
3-star.
right? So I get that, right? That's a
Yeah,
spend thing. I would rather spend money on fucking plane equipment than fucking shards. Okay. I hear you there, Woody, right? Like
yeah.
fucking nobody wants to buy fucking officer frags. It's like the fucking worst thing. We all know that, right? So but like in a general way, there is a fucking there's a recipe, like what does Tip say? Secret sauce. He says it for other reasons, but like there's a fucking recipe, guys. Like every officer has this amount of skills and you should have these skills there. It's not like, well, maybe you should have this skill and like mix in a little zombie attack and like mix in a little melee. Like, no, like you really should have like these very specific set of skills, like you should. And why there's a debate about that is, I don't know, almost egomaniacal, you know?
So LG, I think we're gonna try to have a formation stage like 2 hours before KE. And if you want to speak on it, I can throw you on there as like a guest speaker. But I think it would be great for people to be able to ask those questions, right? The basic formations, what you should have, what skills, what unworldly skills. I think that would benefit a lot of people.
I mean, isn't there just there's got to be a spreadsheet, right? Like, isn't there not a spreadsheet? Like all these smart, nerdy groups that we're in and all these super fucking eloquent speakers that we have. Like, is there not a fucking spreadsheet that says these are the skills that you get? Tip, fucking, where did you go? Like, I know you fuckers down in 5, 6, I forgot fucking this you get, like, what the fuck? Are we lose? Did we lose a beat here? Where did we lose a beat? There's got to be this is what you get, and if you want to be different, then be different, fine. But like, we get the point and laugh, it's like the fucking baby rubbing shit in its hair. They don't know any better. They're just doing it.
Yeah, I think that there are some spreadsheets out there that give you guys like recommended breakdowns for long range or mid range. I think
Forget the recommended stuff, right? We got to take these like vanilla snowflakey words out of our vocabulary. It's not like, well, if you could, like it'd be really nice if, like, no, like this is what you need. And outside of spending money, right, that you don't have, for whatever reason, or can't afford to, whatever the scenario is, outside of spending money, like this is what you should have, And if you are spending money, this is 100% what you should have, because the non-spending members, or the budgeted players, it's going to take them so long to get a fucking perfect single S fucking star officer, right? Like, and I think a majority of people would agree with me when I say that. But if you're a spending member, and you're asking the question, what should I have on these 6 stars? And I want to sound like an asshole when I say this, but I hate the members who ask me what they should have when they have no fucking frags to go get what I tell them to get. It's like, what, you just want to know so you could wait for 3 years before you can go pick it? Like, get the fuck out of here. Stop wasting my time. So, like, have the tenacity to know that, okay, this, whatever Camel gave me is what I'm going to sit on for a little while, right? And the budgeted players, again, if you're led properly, you're more than likely going to be led to go buy some plane equipment or level up your plane. Something along those lines is probably where you're going to be pushed in that direction right now. I think these are such a place where, again, if you're not spending money, you really shouldn't have to worry about it much. But if you are, like, it should be a fucking recipe. It should be not a suggestion. It should be, this is, go get this, whether it be single, double, or triple S. That's completely up to the level of spend, in my opinion, and how much you want to spend in this game type deal. But it's a fucking recipe, and everybody should do it so it all stacks, you dumbos. Like,
So
I mean, again, stat averaging, all these things. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Tip jumped up. Let him speak his piece.
Oh, there he is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta pay attention to the stage thing. I'm not seeing that. Yeah, Tip, jump in here,
All
brother.
good. I was just gonna kind of say what you already said. All these recommended unworldlies are out there, but you pretty much were spot on. It's do they use them? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's a spending issue or if it's a carrying issue, or everybody asked, and if I would recommend go to 255 Nerds. I mean, those guys have just about every damn available spreadsheet in the world in there, and all of this information is in there, and I'm sure they would be glad to share it with you.
And maybe it's adding a point about why you're trying to align, right? Because we have this thing with stat averaging, you want your stats and your priority stats as an alliance to align. Because when everybody has higher stats of the chosen stat that your alliance is going for, that improves your average. And
that's very true.
Just certain fundamental stats that drive a lot of the battle report. And so, I think there's kind of the select stats that you want for a long range or a mid range build. But, nation leaders, a point where you can help is you can start to triage, like, all right, for folks who are not going to be able to get their perfect build right away, what are the ones that are like, they're okay to hold on to if you're having to make choices? And my general feeling is that you should be going towards your end game build as much as possible. But there are certain placeholders where you can say, all right, that's not ideal, but I'm going to take that one over the other option that I have on my reroll. So I think that's a place for leaders to feather in other options.
That's common sense too, though, Big Bird, right? Like, like if you're
common sense, and it does not seem to happen everywhere. But
one thing I would say too, Bird, on that, on your spot on. But one thing I would say, and I recommended this to Lee God and a few other people. Start off with getting the S. Don't focus on the double S. Double S are an absolute waste of frags. And triple S should be rolls and anybody who's going to spend a lot. S should be your main focus of getting the right / and or correct unworldly. That should be your sole focus. It really should be.
Yeah, I think the general point there is, you're absolutely right. The general point is a lower grade correct skill is better than a skill that's 2 grades up that doesn't help you at all.
Very true.
Especially if it's wonky and nobody else has it. So it's like if you're going off the beaten path, you're literally fucking throwing rocks against the concrete wall.
It'll hurt your
It's
stat average too.
yeah, yeah. It's you want to be aligned. I think Big Bird said it pretty perfectly. It's the alignment of the alliance, whatever that may be, is where you guys want to focus. And if you're looking at it at a large level, you take all kind of angles into consideration. I think we all know that the bottom half of that alliance is going to take some time to get the aligned skill there, right? So through that process, you need to make sure that at least the people that are spending money, okay? So listen to what the fuck I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen. So the people who are spending money above the budgeted player, and you guys do work towards getting that single S, or like Tip just described, or even like myself working towards getting a triple S here, eventually. But I'm still working on Emily triple S's, currently. I'm still going through that organic process, because 1,000 frags for one fucking triple S is ridiculous, guys. It's crazy. I'm gonna go choose one triple S long range. When I thought about that after Tip said what he said, however many podcasts ago when he made that suggestion, I was like, what kind of fucking idiot am I? To go grab and I was right there too. I literally needed like fucking 50 frags for a pick'em. I had like 950 frags, Tip, when you said that. Like, thank God you said that when you said it and I was listening. Because I would have 100% waited, bro, and just went and grabbed my triple S fucking long range attack, or whatever I was choosing first. And, just took what I took in the blues and the purples, as they got opened along the way for the other shards. So, yeah, great suggestion, but overall, the aligned members, the guys who are spending money, and we all know that there's a good portion of you guys that are spending money in a singular alliance. You guys got to be aligned, man. And I don't know if I'm giving away some sauce here or what, but like at the end of the day, like you guys got to have the same shit. Sure, you can have some mix of long range and mid range attack, right? Which is suggested, I would assume, for a majority of players. I'm actually starting to, eat that Kool-Aid, a lot more as a nation/alliance leader. So you want to have that good mix of mid and long range, but everything else, guys, man, really needs to be aligned. You know, really needs to be aligned. Melee defense, melee HP, fucking whatever your reductions you're running. Maybe half of your guys are, not running the mid and long range attack. Maybe damage reductions. I mean, everyone's got different sauces to mix around with, but those primary skills, those ones that you can reach out, pick, you top 30 players, man, you should all have the same shit. And everybody should be, making sure that you all have the same shit. And if you don't, make it be about money. Make it be like, yeah, well, I need to buy frags, but I'm spending my money on fucking plane equipment right now. And when the plane equipment kind of gets a little too expensive because it gets there fairly quickly, you'll go back to buying frags, in a couple of months down the line, whatever it is. But make it be about money, not make it being about a dumb choice. And a dumb choice would be melee attack versus, I don't know, fucking or zombie attack or there's a bazillion skills out there probably super wasteful. So if you get aligned with your top players, whatever you guys are, and the guys who are spending money, please get aligned, get the same shit rolling. And just like Tip said, like if everyone's on the same page and all aligned, that triple S on 50 players is going to be so much better than your little a single S on those 50 players are going to be so much more valuable than your 3S, and not paying attention to the rest of your team, not really caring, on a singular player, even, 10 players for convo's sake. So you guys want to get aligned, you want to be on the same page, and, and you don't want to be different, like you really don't. You don't want to be different. I think that is something that is, I don't know, weird. I think maybe it's ego or something like that,
So we,
But I think there's somebody out there who tried it before. Like if somebody would have asked me about the melee attack like a year ago, I'd be like, nah, bro, you can't do that. I did that. You can't do that. And I think
so we
there's probably
found
3 or 4 other players that have been down that rabbit hole with me, over the years. So it's just like fucking, I don't know, people who probably do drugs and shit like that. It's like there's definitely some people out there tell you not to do that shit, you know? Like that cocaine, that heroin, that fucking fentanyl. It's probably really bad for you. You shouldn't do it. But you got to do it anyway. Everyone's going to make their own mistakes, and this is very similar, in my opinion. It's not a trap. It's not very tragic just yet, but yeah, like there is definitely a better way to do it, and specifically as Woody just described with Cowboy, and I appreciate Cowboy doing his thing, man. Shout out Cowboy for doing a lot for the community these past 6 weeks or so. Really keeping it together, and continue to bring knowledge to the community. So changing up skills and doing this and that, man. I'm telling you guys, it's not cheap. But those are things you do because you care. So appreciate you there, Cowboy. But yeah, doing that test, man, I could have probably went back with my screenshots from a couple of years ago and probably gave the same information. But
so we got
appreciate you getting out there and giving us another test, because I'm sure things have changed with drill officers and now machinists and all that craziness that's out there. I did have melee attack for clarification prior to drill officers being released.
Hey, Woody,
So
before
that,
we jump, let me add a point to what LG is saying.
go ahead, brother, jump in.
So to put some numbers on it, a level 30S is going to be for in-nation skills is 24%. A level 30 triple S is going to be 30%. So you're talking about a 6% difference. For most people, the better value add is going to be increasing your levels of your 6S skills as opposed to driving your focus on raising the quality or the grade of the skill. Until you start having level 30s across the board, you don't really need to. And at that point, your stats are high enough that you're in an area where an extra 6% here and there is going to make a difference. But for the majority of players, like figure out what I try and tell people is figure out kind of what your lane is as a player, figure out what grade of 6S skills that's going to mean, and then shoot for those. If you get lucky and get something above that, great. But that's not your focus. Your focus is on getting a certain minimum level and then raising the levels. The problem of S versus double S or triple S really should not apply to the majority of players. And now, Woody,
Yeah,
I'll drop.
hands down agree. Hands down agree.
if you check the chat over here, receipt that I was actually, this isn't the one I was looking for, but this is one
Those
that's actually
they're sneaky with it too. Just to throw it out there.
yeah.
It will with the war officers, there's 6 officers, so that's 6% over 6 officers. You're talking about a difference of attack of 36%, right? Which on a if you're worried about that 36%, that likely means again you have level 30 skills, and that those things are maxed. I think that you can 6% over times, over 6 officers. It's the same thing with the drills. I think that there's only 3 or so that can affect your attack. With the drills. So there's really not a crazy amount of attack for the amount of spend. Now, again, it's all relative, but I do think it's kind of a good KPI that you can start to move off of those single S if you have the proper skills. Once you have the skill maxed, so once you have the 24% with a single S and the proper skill, because I would much rather see you, as Big Bird was just about to say, but I think he didn't go down that hole, was don't go get that extra 6% or even the extra 2%. I think it is, if you, or 3%, excuse me, if you go with the double S,
because I would much rather you go down to the next skill and go get your melee HP at a single S. You know, if you're talking about building it, you know, and I'm sure we all have to get there somehow, but you know, so I'd much rather you know, because it's 100, 300, 1,000, right? Isn't that what it is? Or 300, 600, 1,000? What are the levels for
That's right.
to pick them?
You can fill you can fill 2 full war officers at S level for the cost of
Yeah,
1 triple S.
there you go. Took the word. That's what I was trying to say. What Big Bird just said. The guy's a fucking prophet, ladies and gentlemen. Right. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. You can perfect skills, perfect aligned skills with your, call it your whale of your, you know. Let's assume that your whale's got perfect skills. So you also want to align with your whale, right? That's, you know, I don't want to say that's what you want to do, but like in this kind of scenario, you can go get the exact same skills. Pick them perfectly. You go get your long range cross nation, long range attack, your in nation long range attack. You can go get your melee. You go get it all. You go pick it, boom, immediately. You know, and I think that's I would much rather see everybody do that than, you know, again, go waste their 300 skills and pick 'em books. And I like to be relative when I say this, guys. Sometimes when the normal low spender or budget player buys officer frags, which is few and far between these days because there's so many other things for them to buy, right? The probability of them having enough skill books to go get a triple S or a double S, you're talking years, yeah, so at least handfuls of months, you know? So when these budget players and low spenders or non-spenders that are relying on the, you know, whatever the officer chest from Doom Arena, you know, or Zombie Uprise weekly, you know, like these things take time, you know. They take time. So when they do have them, you know, you don't want to see them go wasting on something stupid, you know, and
So
you want to be aligned. And again, you can, you know, it'll take you however long it's going to take you. But if you can save up that, you know, 400 or 500 frags, you know, you can, you know, go pick a few, you know, and like using my own experience, like Tip just made that suggestion with Emily, or not Emily, whatever the new boy's name is. I forget, Kay. With Kay, you know, like for me personally, I went and chose 3, you know, so I don't want to say wasted, I used 300 or whatever little skill booky things, and I rolled the other 2, you know, and or I will roll the other 2, I should say, you know, give me something to kind of roll, you know, right off the bat. Without just, you know, dropping and spending, because I'm a fucking ridiculous idiot that will go, you know, 6S and excuse me, 3X on all my skills eventually. But for the normal player and for even a majority of the people who are spending even, you know, a couple of $1,000s a month on the game right now, I'm sure there's a good handful of people that spend, call it, 2 grand a month right now. If you're spending 2 grand a month right now, I mean, honestly, I really wouldn't even suggest going crazy on like K frags. I'd probably point you in other directions. You know, like, yeah, I want you to be aligned, but I also think, you know, right now there's still better spend elsewhere, you know. So I think it's individual based, but in a very general way, guys, there's a recipe. There are specific skills that you should have for your war officers. There are specific skills that you can have for your drill officers. And I think there are specific skills that you should have for your machinists as well, you know,
real quick,
regardless of you know, what
they
stage of
got
the game you're in. But if you're one of
they got
those players that is spending money, that has the capacity to choose their skills in a, you know, in a fairly, you know, common manner, then yeah, you should have specific skills, and then your you know, your lower half of your team should be filling in those skills. You know,
oh,
obviously in a priority manner, but you know, they should be filling in skills right behind you. You know,
they got
because the
Am
war
I
officer
muted?
skills, and I you know, mentioned it earlier very specifically. We are telling these guys specifically what to do. Again, it's a recipe. It should be melee HP. It should be the expert in the attack of whatever your nation, you know, excuse me, your city, you know, attack is, whether it be mid range or long range. So those three
I
skills are taken.
okay. Let me talk real quickly, guys. So I'm talking to Camel,
Yo,
and Camel has said that
can you
it
hear me?
looks like. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? So Camel said they're trying to push the website pay system when you don't have enough coins, and I specifically said to them, I was like, well, minimum to buy coins is $20. You know, some people just want to buy $5 pack. You know, so and plus on top of that, some countries don't even have the option to that Blue Coin page to buy it. So you're completely stopping any kind of buying pack. So I think that this is definitely going to go up to the top because I mean, obviously, it's hurting their revenue. Um, we're probably going to see it get fixed real quick, like real quick.
It's because they have to give Apple a portion of the
I
profit.
I know that, and you know that. I know that, and you know that. So I think they're trying to cut out the middleman. You know, Apple and Google. But what happens when you cut out the middleman? They take them off their platform, and that's an issue for. That'll be a whole different issue for them, like legally.
The key point, I think, for folks. Oh, sorry. You go.
They can take it out of Play Store and they can take it off ISO. So just like a lot of companies that are in contract, and the contract says if they open up a
I
well,
think the key point for listeners is that if you go through the contact Camel button, you can revert to old pay methods. It's a pain if you don't have a VIP contact, but it is doable and people have done it. So if the current change is causing you problems, you can revert it. There is a process to do it.
do we know what countries is having this issue right now? Like countries or people?
I know it's affected some folks that I talk to. I don't know their countries, but it's been across multiple nations.
I don't think this is a good idea for them to do.
Can you explain what happened, Woody? I don't know. I haven't heard this. You guys have kind of touched on it, but you haven't
So
really said what it is.
so people have been getting the message where if they run out of, they can't buy with their
Sounds like
iPhone.
there's people having problems with like Apple Pay and like trying to purchase coins or paths in game without first going to the
Blue Coin.
the pay site, purchasing the coins and loading them. So if you're just a traditional player that like to click the button on the side of your phone, to buy your packs, 3,000 times or whatever it is, that's currently not working for a lot of players. I
But
know it's not working for
but
essentially all of 50 packs.
here's the issue that we're having is that there's some countries out there, or even people that just can't even have access to the AO site. So they won't be able to buy blue coins even if they wanted to. That's why they're just using their phone, because they have no access. Like, for instance, China can't access any of our internet unless you have like a VPN. So I think this is and maybe Russia might not be able to as well. I think this is going to become a bigger problem. You think, unless it gets solved. I mean, I don't see the big issue with people paying other than Camel trying to cut the middleman out, save that 20-30%. But still, not everyone wants to buy. If someone wants to just buy the $5 pack, they don't want to spend $20 on a $5 pack. I think that's the issue that we're having right now.
There's some contacts with VIPs posted in the chat that talk a little bit more about this.
Well, I was looking for the screenshots of the VIPs saying it, but I couldn't find. Patients replayed.
Basically, it's being pushed as a player experience, like quality of life upgrade. And if you don't like the upgrade, you can revert it. But you have to ask, and you have to know that you have to ask. So hopefully that gets out to people.
Let's hide it.
No, Hogarth, can you open up your city? I can show you where to go. Go to the bottom. Yep. Go to account. Hang on. Go back. There's another contact button. Yeah. Yeah. And then it opens up. Yeah, it opens up like a chat window within the game. Yeah, that's where you go if you don't have a VIP contact. You contact Camel Help as you would normally.
I have a feeling I'm gonna be I might be getting some messages.
Yeah. And they'll get back to you in 3 to 7 business days. I mean, I don't know. I've never had a ton of luck with that, but they will get back to you. Just take some time.
You know what's funny about? Hold on. What's funny about that help portion about it is like I've written to it before, and then I got an email back that I written to myself. Like they sent me like I writ for help from customer service, but it got sent to me in email, and I was like, that's what I wrote.
Yeah, if you're used to white glove service in other aspects of your life, this is not that, certainly. But another option for folks is if you know who in your alliance has VIP, they might be able to expedite the process on your behalf. In my experience, that has also been true, and I have one. So, but anyways, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours. I'm going to sign off for the night. Thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks to all of our hosts, and look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye.
Yeah. All right, looks like that was pretty good. I think we've talked about everything we needed to talk about. So, did we real quick? Did we talk about the island piece that just came out? So let's talk about that real quick. So guys, that island piece, if you look at it, it's not even that expensive at all. So level 6, you get 1,000 troops increase, and then level 12, you also get another 1,000 troop increase. Now that is the first island piece I personally have seen that you've seen 1,000. So that'd be like 2,000 total increase in troops, and it's not like the $500 piece or the 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. It's something fairly cheap. I think I got like level 2 for like $60. It wasn't expensive at all. Yeah. I'll put it up. Let me take a screenshot of it for you. I messed up. 1 second. and I'll take another one, but with the info on it. I think the info button would just be perfect. This one right here. Look at level 6,000 and level 12, another 1,000 on a purple item. Oh, that's insane. That's insane. Yeah. Hell yeah, that's good. That's really good. That's like that's something I think everyone should be pushing for. Is that those boat items? Unless you really want to pay for those dragons to get that. Just saying. It's up to you. Decent. The first one sucks. Yeah, but even they both apply everywhere. Okay, so or not both. The cross nation applies. The cross nation applies when you're going to battle against like different nation, but the other one in what we call in nation that's still applied against cross nation as well. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're in Civil War. Yeah, yeah, I mean 2000, 2000 ain't bad. That's if we're being real. And I got my Patreon, guys. So if you guys want to see the videos that I've been posting, you can be able to see it earlier before everyone's open to the public. So feel free to join. You can talk to me and talk to other larger players that are definitely supporters, and we'll give you probably some more specific answers that you're going to get in one of these, if you catch the drift that I'm saying. Well, we got several people. Nice, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Woody, check your text real quick before you go.
Hold on. Oh, I like that. Hold on, let me save and post that.
Mikey, I just want to say that was fun in GC, but now that it's over, uh, you have a really big city. You've got some really good BP, and your city's really strong, man. And 732, it's awesome. I was actually interested in seeing some of the videos, Woody, that you and Cowboy were doing against with your exchanges with your changes, with melee attack. And I'm curious on, did you change your opinion? Did you guys change your opinion on the limit? Because as far as I know, bio zombie attack 1900, 1600 melee attack, 1600 melee defense, and that's the sweet spot. Am I off base? If so, correct me.
I'm grabbing screenshots of the two attacks and what we're looking at in it.
It's not really. A lot of people are confusing the sweet spot. It's not that it's a sweet spot. Let me clarify. It's what you're choosing for the unworldlies. That's
Yeah.
how to look at it. Don't look at it as a 1500 because somebody who has S or somebody who has purple or blue or whatever, as long as like Lee God and Bird were talking, as long as they have the correct one, that's all. That's more important than just random shit. You know what I mean? So it's
Can
not
somebody
necessarily the 1500 because the sweet spot maybe for a C37 might be 900. You know what I mean? It's all city based. It's just having the correct unworldly is the key.
can you please send me your drill masters then?
Oh,
I just want to see it. I want to see your drill master 6 stars because
you'd
I'm
have to join the Patreon
I
at
think he might be a part of it,
Saturday.
actually.
Yeah, Saturday
I
beforehand. I'll show
haven't had
you.
a chance to do it yet. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I will.
That's when
Okay,
I'm going to cover it.
so if you look at these two reports here, okay, one of them, obviously the lost units, more lost units, is the one where Cowboy had the melee attack on. After that one, like this one was the melee attack was he lost 221,000 troops, and then the next one he switched out melee attack cross nation to melee defense cross nation, and he only lost 213,799.
Mm.
So that was a test that we did, and I didn't change anything. So
Can
that
I
was a
share my
test we did.
page?
In, what's that? Yeah, you can share.
Can I share my page? And I just want to know. I want to, because I'm building kind of 2 cities right now, and the war officers are kind of pretty much done on both cities, but it's the drill masters that I know I need to change in both cities. So give me a second, and I'll log into the page, and maybe I can just do a verbal mental note with you guys.
Hey Peter, I can do this with you after if you want.
Okay.
Did Cowboy just say he's going to teach somebody unworldlies? I just want to make sure I heard
Bro,
him correctly.
you know what shit he was giving? You know how much shit he gave me yesterday for the long range defense that we were testing?
Sorry,
He gave,
I'll mute myself.
Cowboy. When I woke up, he gave it to me again. he started all over again. Like this is
Also, those double and triple island items, man, they work phenomenal. Those are
Okay,
like some of the greatest things you can do in the game. Oh, let
Peter,
me mute myself.
remember when we were on FaceTime and we were
Yeah.
sharing screens and we couldn't figure out how to dismantle the island things?
Yeah.
Well, it's the house in the bottom left corner
And how did you
that
find that out?
we totally missed.
And how did you find that out?
Here we go.
No.
You better give him the props, or else he ain't gonna stop.
Pull
Yeah,
up the
but
message
listen,
from earlier.
we
I
talked
couldn't
about
hear him.
that.
What did Cowboy say?
No,
Pull
hold
up
on
the
a second.
message from earlier and read it off again.
Listen, we talked about that, guys.
Weird. You got
Like,
so much valuable information. It's weird. Oh,
Hold
and
on,
also,
hey,
sorry, Lee.
let Peter say something.
Go ahead.
well, we talked about that, Cowboy. We talked about it, but I thought you were saying. I actually told you where to go. You just didn't click the. You were saying to dismantle it to where you could do like level
No,
6,
we were
level
on.
6, level 6.
You must have been real tired. We were on FaceTime and we couldn't find it. It was like late.
No, I told you exactly where it was, but you were saying to me that it doesn't stack. You were like, I
It
think it
doesn't.
stacks,
No,
but
it doesn't. It was somebody in the whale chat was saying that it stacks, but it definitely does not stack.
so what is the point of dismantling it then?
Because I had some that I tested over to see if it stacked.
To be able to test it, to see it.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
Yeah. Well, I thought we had accomplished that. I thought we had figured that part out. But it's
No.
He
like
had
some of
tons
the
of
time
level
as I'm
6s,
talking,
level
it's like
12s that
2:30 in the
weren't
morning.
max. That was the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, for those who don't know, the dragon skins do stack. I know we take that for granted, but I'm just throwing this out there. They do stack.
No one told me. This is the first time somebody told me.
I was shocked to find out that people did not know that.
I mean, it says it right there in game.
Know that.
Woody, I'm just throwing it out there. I was dumbfounded. I was just totally shocked. I'm just throwing it out there
So
that somebody didn't know that.
so I think what happens is like I get with the wording in the game that sometimes it can be extremely confusing. So unless they hear us say it on a live, it might not click. And I'm not trying to call anyone idiots or anything like that. But I mean, it's true. Sometimes unless you hear Woody, Tip, Lee God, Cowboy, Retap, any of the big players in the game say, "Hey, this is what it does," they're just not going to trust what Camel says.
But it also shows you that even people that have a bigger maxed out city, they're still learning. Everyone's still learning. It's a game that you just
Dude,
don't stop learning. And it's
League God,
great when
League God didn't know how to do like a refresh on his zombie things on
The
his
the auto.
that blew my mind. That
the
What
auto
I
blew
took,
my mind.
the
what
auto
I'm
kill.
taking from all this is don't take things for granted. I'm just saying.
Well, I think that's the purpose of these podcasts. You know,
Well, that's
and
the
and
whole
that's why
purpose
Tip,
for
when
the
you drop
Patreon.
your hints, I'm like, man, I know that there's like maybe 8% of the people that catch his sarcasm. You have to be pretty emotionally, or like have some good intelligence, have some good emotional intelligence to know that Tip's messing around, man. Like, you can't just, if you follow what he's saying, like, he's gonna lead you down a weird road, but he
Now
knows
that's
what he's
only when
talking
I'm
about.
playing around in Discord. When I'm on here, and you can tell the difference of me being serious and not serious. For the record.
Yeah. I know. Well,
I can tell because I know better.
But
I'm
I've been
telling
telling
you, there's
people
some
melee
people that have
attack
asked me.
was
They're like,
horrible for years, and I kept getting debated and debated and debated and debated and debated, and then I finally gave up, and I said, "Fuck it." Excuse my French. Let's just tell everybody how great it is.
yeah.
So you can't be mad at me for giving in.
So
Yeah.
he's making melee defense great again, is what he's saying.
So, okay, so am I catching this right? That am I understanding?
I put the proof in there. I put the proof in here. The 2 screenshots before with melee attack and with melee defense, and I put it in there. That was all the proof I needed to see as well, because I tested it before and it was a little bit different than this. But I mean, I can't. The proof's right there. I mean, oh. I'm still
But
waiting for a master freaking formation, but I mean, I don't think that's ever coming.
but
That
Woody,
ain't
you also
never
have
coming.
to
Never,
you
ever,
all,
ever coming.
you also have to remember though that what I do doesn't necessarily work for somebody else.
That's
Right?
true.
My melee attack was like 18 and change, and yes, by giving it 50 more melee defense instead of that 50 melee attack, yes, it was a benefit for me. But if somebody's melee attack might be 1200, it might have a different effect.
I think Genghis is trying
That,
to
that
step up and
that's fake.
speak.
That's fake news. Just so you know what you just said. I'm being nice saying that, so you know.
Well,
Doesn't
I'm just
matter
saying
what level you are. Doesn't matter. You have to understand unworldlies and how they work, and you have to prioritize them in what is the greatest benefit. And there is no difference of any of us. Number one greatest thing there is what? It's your MRA or your LRA. That is the number one priority. It doesn't matter if it's cross nation or in nation. Number two greatest thing, melee, HP, in nation, cross nation. Greatest second thing, and you literally can go down that chain, and I don't care what other switch. If you put L or A defense reduction, I ain't naming names, but I saw it and was shocked. I'm just going to throw that out there. But that's crap. It's absolute crap. There is no world that is better than something else. Even LRHP is better than LRA defense. You know what I mean? You got to really look at the importance of them and in
That's
order they
why.
rank.
The reason for the melee defense was because me and Peter were talking about how quickly the lasers die. And we were curious if C44 is going to have those lasers, if it's like, hey, are things going to end up switching to, people having more long range HP or long range defense
It's
to keep those
still, they could
lasers
come out with
up
6 more
longer.
officers, and melee HP would still be the second most important thing in the game. You see what I'm saying? That's the only way to describe it.
I think Genghis wants to say something.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything great to add, but I'll say that on melee defense, I've been as high as 2,200 melee attack, and that was when we were first did our merger in 904, and we had 5 whales, and I was literally the front row on every major attack where 4 or 5 whales went together, and it was fun. It was interesting. I could bring a 70-30 fleet, a front row, and no one could beat us. So that's why I've got 2 melee reductions still, or damage reductions in my officers. But I learned even before I talked to Bodisi or others. Clue and I talked about this, but Bodisi really helped me. Once I balanced my melee defense with melee attack, which inevitably brought me down to like 1,600 or 1,550, something like that.
Yeah,
Now
that's
with
what
the
that's my
warpoint.
that's what
But
you say
once I got it,
1600.
well, I'm at 1,700 now for both, and I'm at 2,400 in the front row. And I would say the only thing
Okay.
that's lagging is my mid-range attack at like 2,350. But that'll come up a little bit more. But I don't think there's anyone who can beat me above the 700s on a one-on-one, including Beast or Ducky on a one because of the defense discrepancy. The melee defense was the most important thing I've ever seen. Like it's just now if I go against a 500 nation or a 400 nation, including tips, and you got 3 or 4 other fleets that are coming against you, you got no shot. But if my old formation, I would have been decimated in 10 seconds. At least I can last a little bit longer. But melee defense was the most important piece of it, 100%.
So melee defense at 1600, or you said 1700?
At 1,700,
So,
just about 1,680. Yeah, 1,690 for both melee attack and melee defense.
so you got to push it. You got to push it. I thought that the definition of the limit was exceeding 1600 would.
It's
1,700.
not. You gotta understand that Genghis
Keep them
has
together. They work together as balance.
his warplane equipment is max, so he's gonna be naturally higher than what somebody else would be. That's the difference. I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, but in the diminishing returns that you're getting past 1600 is just so fractionalized,
From a skill standpoint, I was able to bring my melee attack and melee defense down to like 1,500. And then with the additional boost that came out, I went back up to 1,700 on
From the
generic and on warplane.
Rita, what you just said is still fake, just so you know. That's all fake news. Everything you did, I'm not trying to be mean. It's fake news.
No, I want to hear you say that. Don't say
there is
sorry.
no, yeah,
Tell
no,
me
I'm with
to
you.
do
I don't want to belittle you. That's all I'm trying to say. It is
No,
fake
I
news.
want you to.
Melee
Fucking tell me
HP,
the
there
truth.
is no. Raz used to say there's a 1850 or 1900 back in the day. That's the most you want. No, that's crap.
No, I'm not talking about
trash,
HP. I'm
horrible.
talking about
No,
defense.
I know.
I'm talking about melee
I'm giving you
defense.
an example. It's
Yeah.
never enough because as we continue to build, you're going to continue to raise it. Everything is just going to raise by attrition, and it's still always going to be the number 2 item. Or defense is going to be the, whatever ranking it is always going to be that ranking, no matter what level we are.
Okay, so drill masters. Am I understanding this right? If a drill master has melee defense, you get it.
Now,
And if
depends.
it's got,
No, that's not true. Depends. It depends on what you are. Are you MRA? Are you LRA? There's some, and I didn't realize this. I will say Cowboy and Woody showed me last night, and I have it and didn't even realize it, that one of the officers, for example, I have an attack, or I'm sorry, in the war officers, I have an attack and I have a cross nation and in nation in the same officer. So I wouldn't use, like a cross nation in that one. But yeah, I'm with you on there. No, there are other things that are just as important that you may also take into consideration. And this is where you can come in and change things up. And that is melee defense reduction along with zombie attack reduction.
I do those too. I've got probably at
Those
least
are
2
two
melee
things that
defense
can make a huge difference and make you a much better player, because those are things other people forget about. And if you have those little things in there like that you can make the difference. That's tweaking is what I would call.
A max whale versus me that has a 1,300 melee defense has no chance. Even if I'm an idiot on my formation, they have no chance because I'm 400 above them on it, and it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. Because my front row, and then as long as I put enough, I'm more of a mid ranger. By putting enough back row to prevent Titans and everything from going down, I mean it's just long rangers have no shot.
someone better get a hold of Holbrook then. Because
I was
Holbrook's.
expecting him to say something tonight, but he didn't.
No, I'm saying because that was sort of that fake news was, I think, coming from him in one of these podcasts like a few weeks ago or something.
I agree with Clue. I agree with Clue that if you look at where the warplanes are going, there's so many generic. It's not just long range attack that's increasing. It's all attack. It's all defense. It's all HP.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as melee attack goes up so high, having that's why I'm like Woody. But I'm in the 900 nation. Woody's in the 700. If I were Woody, I would stick exactly with the one melee attack reduction that he's got, or damage reduction. I'm at 2, but I'm 200 nations behind him. I will see myself going to 1 when the rest of the whales up here decide to stop going below 2,000 on their melee attack. But I mean, sometimes we do a fleet with 4 whales going onto a single tower trying to win a game, Polar or GC, and there's just 4 of us going against 30. If I can do a 70 front row, 30% mid with my formation and my damage reductions, it's game over.
Did I hear you? Zombie
melee,
attack reduction in the
melee
drill master?
damage reduction from is trash. I'm just being as nice as I can be.
Melee.
Trash.
Say that again.
The one that you're reducing the damage that melee gives to you
it's trash.
is
It's
trash.
trash one-on-one.
There is no nation. There is no nation that makes it good. Let me just clarify that there is, and especially the way the game is going now. It used to be when you had a nation like well, let me give an example. There is a place for it. It's 1,300, 1,200, 1,400, 1,500 nations who that's the one whale, and he's battling 15, 20 man battles only, and he's never in any team attacks because he has no team to help him. You know what I mean? That is the only time that is the benefit.
That's still up in 900 in a GC
let me
finals.
give you an
I'm taking
example.
on towers with 20 people. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but all it takes is one player to come in there and it fucks your whole thing up. Excuse my French, but it literally ruins your entire deal. One player drops in that attack, yeah, and it kills you, and you're just done. And that's why when you can take a mega whale and throw a C-37 in there and battle another mega whale, and even though that C-37 or 36 adds 400k troops, now he gets obliterated. The 2 of them get obliterated by the 1, which is why you heard. Lee God talking about the tower hit with Deadpool. Again, I'm teaching y'all a lot here. Deadpool hit Sachi by himself one-on-one and killed him, but then he went into a tower with a group with a bunch of people, and Sachi hit him with the tower with millions of troops in there, and Sachi kicked them all. That's why. So it's absolute trash. It serves no purpose other than if you're in that 12, 13, 1400 nation. If you have any chance, and here I'll explain to Genghis why we kill him in Polar. None of us have it, and we all come in there with top heavy with the all correct stuff.
As long as you have a second and third to come in, that's my disadvantage. But I'm not playing to beat you in Polar. I'm playing to win GC. And I'm telling you, I go against in the championship round. I'm taking towers out 1 versus 20.
As long as nobody joins you in that tower hit with you, you're fine. Your way works 100%.
Yeah,
but it only takes that one freaking
idiot
winning to go in there and ruin that whole battle. Yeah. That's my argument.
And think about how much I speed, how much I'm doing, right? I'm literally for an hour and a half, my fingers never stop going on a GC finals. We have no chance of winning. Yeah.
But as your GCs progress and as time goes by, that will change because those other nations, your nation's going to continue to grow, and they're going to start joining the battles more and more and more. Your team battles are going to be bigger and bigger and bigger, and it won't work. It just, it won't.
Ducky's already modifying his melee attack, but Woody's exactly right. I will be like Woody after this GC. I'm going to drop down one of my melee reductions.
Woody, are we getting rid of it now?
Are you talking about damage reduction?
I wouldn't yet, Willie. I would
melee
wait.
Damage reduction?
Yeah, to reduce damage for melee troops.
When I start seeing, well, that's hard to say. I might drop it, but
God, it's killing me, Woody. It was almost like 2 years ago. You told me to add it. Oh,
I know. Don't give up triple.
When you first came up to the 700.
I know that. But people have caught up too. People have caught up. That's the problem. Is people have caught up to where we are.
I've noticed a lot of City the Beast, Archie, Lead God. I noticed they have it at 55.5, and it's driving me nuts. And after hearing this podcast, I guess I'm going to get rid of those too.
I have mine at 55.5 as well.
I dropped one of mine a few months ago and put melee defense up, and I'm
like, now like 70, 72%. What are you at?
Fuck,
65, 70, probably like
let me
70.
check. Let me check a report real quick.
Damn.
He's got
I think I'm at
triple
a,
S.
I'm at
It's
100.
30%.
I'm at 100.
So tip, melee defense. When I drop it, add melee defense.
I don't know. I'd have to see the officer because you can add melee defense to any different officer, just to, you know what I mean, whatever combination,
Right.
because there's other secret things. So I would tell you there is a balance in there. You're only going to add it so many. But here's the thing that they never talked about, and I talked with Woody and Cowboy about this.
Hold on. I'm at 70.5. So if I
Right,
drop
right.
that one, yeah.
There's
Yeah,
the
you
other
gotta-
thing
you
that you
gotta
have to take into consideration, guys, that you guys are forgetting is, are you battling MRA players or are you battling LRA players? What's the preponderance of the people that you're battling? I would assume that 98% of the people that you're battling are LRA. So when it comes to drill officers, do you want to dedicate with a reduction of MRA, or would you be better off to put melee defense in there? I would tell you in group
That's not the
battles,
choice.
and
That's not the
I
choice.
would, yeah, I would tell you melee defense would be better if you were focusing on primarily LRA officers or LRA players.
Right, right.
But if you have a world,
I'm
if
at
you have a globe
700.
full of MRA, then it would make sense to do the other thing.
Yeah, but
Right.
but you could be at 700 LRA reduction for group attack, right? For
Yeah,
reductions.
I'm talking about MRA
And about-
reduction.
Yep, but 650 for MRA and not have to squander either one. LRA is the one you want to be. It's that 90%, and then
Oh, I'm with you.
you can still get melee defense. You can still get the
I
melee
agree.
defense.
Yeah, but you're 700 and 650. I'm 720 or I'm 730, 730. I'm like almost a balanced build exactly, but I'm a balanced build in my area because I battle a ton of MRA officers or MRA players.
You're against bigger people too.
Yeah, so that's why I do mine the way. But if I were up in the higher nations in the 7s, 8s, 9s, I would drop my MRA reduction and I would increase my melee defense. Another thing we talked about is attack 2 LRA. A lot of people focus on the attack 2 MRA or the attack 2 LRA. Same thing. I would remove the attack 2 MRA. Yes.
Save it for Saturday.
Fair enough.
Jeez, you're killing me. Oh God.
Fair enough.
I literally
I mean,
don't know what the hell to do now.
The beauty
I'm
of those
so fucking-
reductions of the enemy LRA reductions and the MRA reductions, and so again, my example up here at 904, taking a tower, 1 versus 20, 2 versus 18, sort of thing.
Yeah, but you're
That
904.
That applies to the.
You
but that
guys are
applies to the
so much
entire enemy.
stronger than everybody. You're
Not
not
true. No,
you're
like 910 strong.
Yes.
Yeah, but think about this. It applies to the entire enemy fleet. Those reductions apply to everyone that you're facing against, right? So the average that goes against it. That's why those things are so devastating. So when Tip says he's at 700 plus for both, I'm almost there myself, and I'm in a nation 400 nations above him. But that's
Right.
how important that skill is, right?
Listen,
That is what, after damage reductions, those are the most important things you have because they
Which ones?
apply to every fleet that comes to you.
Which one?
The enemy LRA reduction and enemy MRA reductions, those apply to every
Yeah.
fleet that attacks you. Yeah.
In
Not just the one. Just one on one.
Damage reductions. Are you talking about war officers or are you talking about drill masters?
War officers.
Okay,
Yeah, war
because
officers.
there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that
No,
going
in
on in drill
the
masters.
drill masters, so in the drill masters, the best
It's like
skill is
reduce attack. It'll say
Yeah.
like reduce attack.
Yeah, those are phenomenal because they apply
Yeah.
to every city that fights you.
He's talking about the Tifa, reduced damage taken for melee troops, is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then what was it? Zeus, I think.
Zeus, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, in Zeus. And Zeus is the one I
Tifa.
switched out and put
Yeah,
increased.
Tifa and Zeus.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've
But
got
anyway.
Alexandria and Aeon are long range, and then Panda and Stormbow are mid range damage reduction, right?
I feel fucking horrible because like people have been listening to me, and I'm just like, hey guys, guess what? Your boy Woody was wrong. You know,
Well, it's
but at
not that
least,
you're wrong. It's just things
but
have
No,
changed.
no,
Things
maybe a
get
year and a
added.
half ago, Woody, a year and a half ago, when you first came up to the 700s, it was a big deal. You know,
yeah.
you were bringing some information to the 700s that we were just getting our first merger, and we had no clue about any of that, you know, until you came up here.
Well, I did try. I did try.
I appreciate it.
Let me do a quick sales pitch, right? All these tests that we're doing, that is what we want to start sticking into that Patreon only members. So Saturday's conversation, it's going to be for Patreon only members. So I would encourage people to go and support Woody and join that conversation, because I'm sure it will be this times 10 for sure.
Yeah, well worth it, definitely.
I will say, you can ask Mikey. He was the first person. I was the first person he ever seen someone attack his own nation in the middle of void.
Yeah, yes.
Like, what the
I
fuck
didn't
is Woody
understand
doing?
it. Yeah, I remember messaging you. You're like, I'm gonna get him before you guys do. Like, and then after that, everybody just like, yeah. I mean, you definitely brought a lot of stuff up
It fucking
that we
clicked
had no
hard.
clue about. Yeah, 100%. Much appreciated. It worked, you know.
Now, if you forget to break your alliance before void,
Yep.
you get to sit there and watch him get zeroed and do nothing about it. And that does happen. That does happen. Like, someone forgets to break that alliance before void.
Woody, you got to bring Nikki back. You got to bring her back. This is like, I feel like we're going to another level in the community, and she should be part of it. Is there any chance of you getting her back?
I mean, I spoke to her. What was that? A few days ago, and I don't think she's coming back, guys.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think she's coming back. I would love to see her back. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, she just.
But
I mean, so many nations would invite her in to do what she does great at. You know, it would just be great for the community. She's amazing at it. What she did for our void was just phenomenal.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that. It was good.
That was just, she did such a great job with it.
I think
Hey, Woody, I'll say this with Tip still being on the line. And when T14 Shredder's coming up, Blue and I were chatting about this. You won't be wrong about your one melee damage reduction. And then Tip will never admit it, but he'll be adding one within the next 12 months. I promise you.
I gotta hear a response.
He's gonna say, I'm sorry, I'm here from the future. He can disagree now, but I'm here from the future to let him know.
News. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Tune in to CNN later for more fake news.
Well, again, do you have any competition up in the 900s? I know 908's good.
Yeah, we do.
910. I mean,
No,
honestly,
910 is phenomenal. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, guys,
It's gonna get tougher. It's gonna get tougher for 904 over the next year or so when everybody starts catching up, because the power difference is tremendous. I mean, we face 904 in the 700s, and I mean, the 4 or 5 of you guys are really tough. You know.
No, they are the reason why I don't do Iron Blood. Nope.
For the record, I hope all of you add melee damage. What Genghis is talking about. I hope you all continue to add it. It's a wonderful item, and I encourage you all to listen to Genghis because I look forward to seeing you in Polar.
Not a chance. He's thinking about the future. You know, you can't knock.
I can't wait till he sees that T14 Shredders. Yeah.
Mikey, you're not going to believe this, but
It's getting out of control right now.
Mikey, Tip has me over here running numbers on what it would take to switch to MRA.
Oh, God.
Just wait. Hey, just that.
Your city?
Yeah.
God.
I would switch. I don't got the funding for that. Like, the funding's ridiculous.
Hey, I
know
will
you-
say Genghis is right with one thing, Woody. There is, and Holbrook gave me the idea. There is one circumstance, and somebody just said it. Sorry, why I interrupted you. That
With the expert?
Kingsley. There's a couple of events that Kingsley would be a better officer, and then I'll go ahead and throw Genghis and allow him to talk about his melee damage crap.
I think
But
we need to get into
then,
Patreon.
and only then would it be a benefit, because what you're replacing with is better. But this is talking about a whale fucking player that's got all those extra skills to dump level 30s and triple S's with all the right crap. and have this to where it's a switch officer, and that's a whole nother freaking level. But yes,
Agreed.
that would be a game changer for the record. Whoever has the ability to do that would be an absolute game changer in 2 events. I'll leave it at that.
I can't wait for the day to put Kingsley out with my T14 shredders in a couple of those events. I know exactly
It
the
would
ones
be
you're talking
fun.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be
yeah.
fun. I agree.
Triangle War and DoD.
Well, we've never lost. 904's never lost in those.
I would like to play you.
don't,
I sent the note. I sent the note to request it. That's what we need to do.
Oh,
for our,
I
our-
look forward to it, Genghis. I
I was
really
gonna-
do.
I was gonna say, don't say it too loud, Camo might hear.
I look forward to it. Hey,
It'd be fun.
621
Cal-
thought they could do it. 425 thought they could do it. And now we got 904. I'll add you to my little trophy on my desk.
I didn't say we could. I just say we haven't lost anyone else. Yeah.
You know, I love you.
Cowboy.
Y'all are great.
I'll say this. I think that 904 with their top players, I think that they will walk through 5, 6, 7. But I also think it's gonna, and you guys are definitely gonna walk through them. It's gonna come down to the number of players.
Yes,
It
and
always
that's
does.
the difference.
And what
I agree
event?
with you.
And what
100%
event?
with you.
And what event? What
In
event?
both,
Woody?
both Triangle War and DoD.
DoD and
Absolutely.
Triangle. And guess
Yeah.
what's going to be a big difference in that one is reduced damage from melee. So
No,
Enjoy
What
that.
if a nation?
we
What if a
beat
nation put up?
621 with 4 players. We beat 425 with 4 players. And you're talking
we
about
clear
not
we
just a
clear
couple
nations with
whales.
2. We
Yeah,
clear
but
them
you're
with 2.
clearing nations that have 1 or 2 whales. We're clearing nations
No,
that
we've
have
done
14,
Ducky and
15,
Beast.
41s. There's a big difference
Yeah.
in clearing 3 and clearing
No, that's
18.
true.
I'm just throwing that out there.
And there's no revives and the other stuff anymore.
Correct. And there's if you don't have a revive, you're screwed. And even
Well-
then you're screwed because you only
It's
have
only one.
one revive
Only
per
one
player.
hit. Yes.
Now imagine
Yeah.
having 6 whales, and that means you have 12 times they can hit, versus you guys have 3, which only gives you 6. We have an unfair advantage, obviously, because we're deeper, basically.
DoD and Triangle were always a melee attack or melee front row event.
Agreed.
100%.
Agree.
There's Mental right there. What's up, Mental?
Hey, bud, how are you?
He loves DOD and Triangle too.
Yeah, I know he does. I know he does.
He's not allowed to play it.
Oh, he's gonna still play. He don't care. He's gonna like.
No. Trust me. Ask him.
He's gonna do what he does. Period.
It doesn't matter. He's not allowed. Trust me.
That's a Mental. He's gonna do what he does.
He still ain't allowed. Ask him.
Hold
I
on,
already
I'm
know the
trying
answer.
to find the speaker button. It's different.
We can hear you.
Well, we have it set up like this, so we don't get those people who use like their mics that they didn't put off when you hear the wife's yelling at someone to take the trash off, or personal business stuff that goes on that stuff like that. And plus we stay on topic. And plus the Patreon people, they're able to get seen too. Stuff like that. So the audience actually likes it more. They raise their hand and they get invited in.
Hey, Woody or Tip, could you just generically for the group, because even 904, it's helpful. You had 5 fleets that were joining together to fight to go against another group attack, and whether you pick whatever the killing event is, optimizing those units again and just repeating that for everyone so they understand that you don't send your best one-on-one fleet, right? You send your best aggregate fleet that helps the team, so to speak. I know I mentioned this Tip, you don't have to give away any of your secrets of Polar, et cetera, that you've done against me, but just generally, how you balance out, your best attack, your front row, what's a good percentage on that? I think that would be a good thing for a lot of people to hear.
You talking about what event?
DoD Triangle War defense.
Anyway, elite war, forget Triangle, elite war, or you're going to a tower in Frenzy.
Okay, you're talking about team attacks. Gotcha.
I would tell you it's still
Attacks.
based off
I got 5
it would be
fleets going
different.
there, yeah.
It would be different for every player because you couldn't just choose a percentage. And I'll give an example. Your 24, almost 2,500 melee HP, you can take less melee front line and add more back than what another player can. So it would
Well,
really there's not an actual number percentage. I mean, there is, but it would be like an algebra equation because it would be based off your percentage of your attack of your percentage of your troops. I don't know the formula.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
looking
not a
for a
math
number.
genius,
That's the concept.
but that was how I would judge. I typically, well, give me a fleet size and I'll give you a number. Is that fair?
5 fleets of 500,000 piece.
Uh,
LRA and MRA mix. Yeah.
I would tell you based off of that equation, I would tell you probably 38K, maybe 40K melee tanks if you're 41 or 40 or higher. And then your primary, obviously max zombies, and then your primary attack fleet, whatever that, whether you're LRA or MRA. And I'm referring to Havocs or rockets, whichever you have, your max level is. And then you cannons if you're a T13 or EMPs if you're T12.
And if you're an MRA fighter, you wouldn't want to be bringing along extraneous LRA fighters to reduce the overall
Yeah,
stats.
you don't bring what you're not. It's that simple.
Yeah, you don't bring any. The second you put one, if you're a mid range, the second you put a single long range troop in there, you have just fucked the long range players up. And it goes both ways. If you're a long range player and you put a single, let's say you put a single bike in there, you just screwed up the mid range stats by doing that
Certain
significantly.
nations you get burned for that.
Yeah, significantly. Like, you'll feel it, and then depending on what nation and what kind of player you just screwed over, they might burn you afterwards for that.
Yes, we will.
Just say it. I've seen it happen.
You only get so many get out of jail free cards.
52, nation 52. If you sent the wrong formation, you get one chance. You correct it, and the next time you do it, you're kicked and burned. And it don't matter if you bubble right afterwards. That's fine because they have you on fucking mark. They kick you and they wait and they wait and wait and they wait. The second it comes down, you're toast. Like you're toast. Like the second your bubble comes down, they see it. I've seen it happen before. Not to me, but I've seen it happen before.
So
We have changed up the front a little bit. We have changed up one thing, which I won't say. I'll let Genghis see it. This polar, it's working. We tweaked it a little bit.
Tip, don't you think the
Yeah, I
answer to
don't
that
like
question
your
though
I don't
is
like your sliders up front actually, but I go more axes just because I have to take and hold on stuff.
Well, let's let mental
Sorry,
say.
mental. Yeah, I was lagged.
no. I was just saying, Tip. Don't you think the answer though to your question is it's who you're fighting? So if I'm going up against you guys 5, 6, 7, that front line is a lot heavier than if I'm going up against 30 guys that I know I'm going to win against. I'm usually only sending 25 or 30,000 tanks because I know
I
they're
would
gonna
adjust.
hold up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would adjust based off that. Like EW, for example, I would adjust my front line versus like you're saying. Depends on who I'm fighting. There's some truth in that. I would tweak it a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't be massive, but I could see a 5 to 10K swing depending on who I'm fighting, plus or minus.
I totally agree with you, but I do that. I set 3 fleets when I go into these things, and and based on where I'm headed, I pick how many tanks I send, and then of course I don't send any long range. So
well, you and I both know as MRA players and Genghis too. We look like Superman in all of these battles because we kill more than anybody else. Sometimes more than everybody in the battle. You know what I mean?
I also think.
Sorry, I call it the 3 million rule. You want to get at least 3 million per hit, right?
I think it's important that we're talking about the troop formation and team attack, that we have to remember that you have those whales that are in these newer nations, and these newer nations they are still sitting at 34. So if you're that mega whale on a team attack and you're doing the proper formation, that whale does have to put more front line into it, because especially if they're going after other mega whales.
That's correct. That is correct.
So I mean,
you're 100% correct.
Like you have to protect. Although, let's be real. Although the people that are not the whales, they're basically your meat shield, and your whales doing the killing. But if your team is nowhere near your whale and they're fighting a decent amount of 35s, 36s, and all you guys 34s, that whale's got to make up for it, and so he is going to lose some troops. And that's something you have to consider, like for the newer nations.
I agree with you. That's 100% correct.
And at that point, I'm gonna be honest. If that's the scenario that I'm speaking now, that whale has to put like 55,000 to 60,000 tanks in the front. I know
But
that's a
that's
huge
his
number.
that's his fault for being the only whale in a newer
Correct.
nation. I mean
Yeah,
that's just
correct.
that's one of the many disadvantages of being that guy. I mean, there's a lot of pluses, but that there are a lot more disadvantages, and that's one of them.
What do you and I just fought? Well, with a bunch of people, 3 whales. We went against a mega whale, a
352 million.
352 million. And I adjusted and I went, I didn't go 70-30, but I went probably 40-60 front row when we were adjusting, and that helped us to lower that front row so that we could start punching through on that.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
I mean, you know where we were heading on, but we talked about it. It was, it made a big difference.
If you're going to attack a big BP city, then yes, I would definitely weigh heavier the 5 to 10K positive. You know, I might take, like for me, I would take probably 50, 55K tanks if in a big group hit, you know, like a 25-man hit that we're hitting a 350 million BP city, because that chances are that big BP city's got a million tanks and, you know, a million or 2 million shredders in there. And you're going to need those extra tanks
Don't
to
forget the
give you
X-Men.
time to kill theirs.
Don't forget about the X-Men.
Yeah, well, that too. But you're not sending those. You're trying to
No.
kill them. But yeah, I
But
agree with you.
the killing, they have that in defense. Oh my God.
Correct. No, it
Fucking
makes a huge
X-Men.
difference. I'm gonna lie.
Those X-Men.
They're ferocious.
And
They
I will
do.
say this. I will say this right now because I did help out in the 904 and I recorded it. So I already got the first round. First time I released it not too long ago. And I'm going to be editing the second round tonight. So that'll be on my Patreon where you can see that big 352 million BP city. It did take a few hits. Don't get me wrong. But he did burn. He did burn. He did burn.
Nice.
And we made adjustments too. We learned in every fight too.
True.
Woody, right? We adjusted. I can tell you, I adjusted my front row every time.
Absolutely. I tell you what, seeing that and being able to be there to do that, knowing that I'm at 356 million, I'm no longer safe. Like I've seen I've seen what can happen.
We would burn you, Woody.
Yeah.
Just saying, we would burn you.
My
Love you
PC
to death.
my PC just flickered, so because there's a storm coming, so I'm assuming that I'm gonna lose power. So I think it's be a good time to end this and carry on, or else I'm gonna drop out. I already know that.